Attention WB21, WTTO, Birmingham.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Jefferson Pilot Sports, a division of Jefferson Pilot Financial.
Last Saturday, Alabama running back Shaun Alexander was indeed Alexander the Great.
It is touchdown. You got it. Touchdown, Alabama. Short side of the field. It is touchdown, Alabama. Touchdown. Touchdown. Shaun Alexander. Touchdown. Shaun Alexander, another touchdown from 2 yards away. This is Shaun Alexander's night.
At Legion Field in Birmingham, Bama fans look for another Alexander explosion today.
Alexander for the house.
Alexander's the best. Woo!
Shaun's great. Roll Tide, roll.
But Woody Ball 2 comes to Birmingham today. Woody Woodenhopper and Vanderbilt's highly touted defense trying to keep Alexander from getting rolling today. It's Alabama and Vandy coming up next. Fifth-year senior John David Phillips trying to take Alabama to 2-0 on this young season. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt turns to a freshman, a true freshman, David Wallace, their starting quarterback today. It's the Bell South SEC Game of the Week today from historic Legion Field in Birmingham as Vanderbilt comes calling on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Alabama. Bob Kessling along with Dave Rowe. Alabama impressive last week in that opening win against BYU, and Shaun Alexander an outstanding night.
Boy, he surely was. Shaun Alexander, the great, Bob. Had a fantastic game as evidenced by 5 touchdown runs. But I think you have to give a little bit of credit to the big guys up front, the blockers, especially on the left side. That's Chris Samuel, 60, and Dustin McClintock. As he breaks here, look at the drive blocks off the line. There's the hole. You see Shaun Alexander do good drive block. Alexander sees the hole. Now, most backs would run straight upfield, pick up as many yards. The difference between good backs and great backs is the cutback, and that's what Shaun Alexander does. He turns a good run into a touchdown run.
Today, Alabama will try and block those Vanderbilt linebackers. They lost their starting 3 from last year, all in the NFL now, and so they're trying to rebuild that defense a bit.
Boy, that's been tough, and you don't want your 2 linebackers, as was evidenced last week by Vanderbilt. Their 2 outstanding linebackers, Turner and Winborn, had 15 tackles apiece. You don't want that. You want them to stop them a little bit up front.
Today, those linebackers will be trying to slow down Shaun Alexander and this Alabama running attack. So it's Bama coming with the house that Shaun Alexander built. Bama and Vanderbilt coming up in just a moment.
Today's Bell South SEC Game of the Week is brought to you by Bell South. Bell South is proud to be the official telecommunications company of the SEC. By Sonic, where we invite you to drive in for a change. By Nations Bank. No one has more ATMs than Nations Bank. With your Nations Bank ATM card, you can check your balance or get cash at nearly 7,000 Nations Bank ATMs across the nation, all at no charge. By Pizza Hut, home of your favorite pan pizza. And by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Isn't it time for a real car?
We're at Legion Field in Birmingham. David Logan standing by with Alabama coach Mike DeVoe.
All right, thank you, Bob. Coach, you scored 38 points last week in an impressive win, but you give up 31. I know you want to tighten up your defense in this game.
Well, we have to tighten up our defense. We've got to play better than that. We lost our poise in the second quarter and the start of the third quarter and ended up giving up too many plays. BYU had something to do there. I was pleased with the way we played offensively, but we got to protect the football better.
At the same time, you're going to take on a team that had a tough time last week, Vanderbilt. You don't want to come out and underestimate Woody Woodenheimer's team.
No, we're not going to underestimate Woody or Vanderbilt. They're an excellent football team. You look at the tapes and you see where they've got a chance to make some things happen. The score was not, the game was closer than the score indicated.
All right, Coach, have a good one this afternoon. All right, Bob, back to you.
Woody Woodenhopper's squad trying to get some offense generated, and this is second year they had talked about their revamped offense, but yet shut out last week, Dave.
Well, interesting, making a quarterback change, going to a new quarterback, and putting a lot of pressure on that young man, and we'll watch him all game.
So Vanderbilt will get the ball first. As Alabama getting set to kick it off here at Legion Field in Birmingham. Wisniewski will kick it off for the Crimson Tide at deep Alvin Duke and Jimmy Williams. Glad you're with us from Legion Field for our Bell South SEC Game of the Week. Vanderbilt trying to snap that long SEC losing streak they haven't won since 1995. And the kick will go to Williams at the goal line. Williams trying to get it outside. Flag is down. Good return out across the 35, but David's coming back.
Yeah, it sure is. It's way down there where the wedge was, inside about the 16-yard line. They bring it back and penalize him from there, and Vanderbilt's going to be in a deep hole to start this game.
So the referee, Bill Goss, now will assess the penalty. The flag is down at the 16-yard line of Vanderbilt.
That's the inadvertent hand in the back, Bob. We see that so many times.
So Woody's team off in a hole again as the freshman David Wallace will take him from the shadows of their own goal line.
There's the block right there. You see right there. That was the hand in the back. Good call by the official.
That was a little bit more than a hand.
Yeah, it really was.
David Wallace, the freshman from Brentwood, Tennessee. You see last week against Mississippi State, 3 of 5 for 19. They played 3 quarterbacks. Ty Lewis got the start. Greg Zollman then came on, and David Wallace, who they think is going to be their quarterback of the future. And Woody decides, let's go with him right now. Vanderbilt starts at its own 8-yard line. Now Wallace going to throw it on the first play. Now the pass is deflected and broken up by Antoine Hunter as they try to get it to Tavares Hogans. Here's a look at our Nation's Bank small business starting lineup. First for Vanderbilt.
Well, of course, everyone knows about Todd Yoder, but Jared McGrath is the one we're really going to watch. Adam Ditto had an incredible spring game. Up front, Clay Condry's got to have a big day today blocking. Barnett, of course, Wilson, and Bindum. Bindum's got to play well today. They've got to play well at the shades at the outside tackle spots.
There's Ty Lewis, the starter last week, hoping to get a chance, perhaps, later on in this game. But Vanderbilt says they want to be a one-quarterback team. Dump pass inside Hogans again. Not much there. A couple of yards out to the 10. So Vanderbilt will have a 3rd and long here on their first possession. Now time for our Nation's Bank small business starting lineup for Bama's defense.
Well, big man that's going to have to play well up front is Jamie Carter, the outside end. He's got to get pressure. Kenny Smith and, of course, White. The backers are good. Travis Carroll really came on last week and played well. And in the secondary, everyone's heard about Fernando Bryant, but I think Sigler's got to play well at free safety spot.
And a change. Tony Dixon, of course, the strong safety, suspended for the game. So Marcus Spencer getting to start there in his slot. Open receiver, that's Todd Yoder. He's got a first down as he gets out across the 20-yard line.
And, Bob, let's give a lot of credit to Vanderbilt on this series. Their offensive line stopped the penetration on 3rd down by Alabama and allowed Wallace to look downfield. Here's the route. It's going to be an out pattern. You're going to see Plant now get out. Right there's a broken coverage. Excellent pick up there by Wallace. You don't expect that by a freshman to pick up that receiver, but he obviously went to the one where there was broken coverage.
There's the veteran receiver, Todd Yoder. The first pass he caught in college, a 50-yard touchdown strike against Notre Dame back in 1996. He had 1 catch last week and already 1 catch here. An Alabama defensive back is down. Fernando Bryant is the one who was covering on that side and then came up and had to make the play on Yoder.
When you don't want to lose somebody like Fernando Bryant, outstanding cornerback. Everybody knows he's tremendous one-on-one coverage person. Hoping that's just maybe a stinger or got some air knocked out of him.
Yoder, of course, a guy who spent a lot of time in the weight rooms, gained 30 pounds and delivered a blow here.
Well, there's 25. That's Fernando Bryant. It looks like he took a shot up in the right shoulder area. Now he's back up running right there. See if he doesn't maybe get hit again. No, I don't see it again. Might have just got a stinger, what they call a stinger.
See the Alabama Brain Trust.
Yeah, that's Ellis Johnson right there.
So Johnson now trying to make some adjustments. Remember, they've already lost 1 defensive back to suspension. Tony Dixon, and Bryant's trying to figure out what stadium he's in.
And you know what? That's exactly right, Bob. When he got up, did you see how wobbly he was? May have gotten a shot up in the more of the head area than the shoulder, because he got up and he was a little bit wobbly.
2 tight ends in for Alabama now. Travis Carroll, who's also nursing some injuries, and at linebacker. He's been the emotional leader of this defense. Last week, Vanderbilt was 1 of 11 on third down conversions. They've already bettered that handoff tailback. Not much there. Jared McGrath stumbles getting out of the blocks. And Marcus Spencer comes out to make the stop.
Well, play selection is going to be so important for Vanderbilt today. They can't make mistakes down in their own territory, and nobody knows that better than the coaching staff of Vanderbilt.
Jimmy Williams now comes in at wide receiver. Remember, he was their leading receiver and rusher. Number 9 comes out slotted to this near side. He's going to play defense as well. In fact, most of the plays on defense, but on second and long, the speed burner, Williams, and let's see if they go to him. There's the slip screen right to him, and nothing going. As Alabama smelled that one out. David, if we can see it up here, surely they can see it down there.
Well, that's that underneath screen. What you do is the wide receiver takes about 1 step off the line and comes back towards the line of scrimmage, trying to catch the football and allowing the big blockers to get out in front. Now watch this. 1 step back. Now he comes and watch the offensive lineman getting out here. There you see the big lineman coming in there. But a good play there. Just a good play by the corner, Antoine Hunter.
Well, Vanderbilt converted on its first third and long. Let's see what they do here. Third and right at 10 yards. Scoreless first quarter here from Legion Field in Birmingham.
Here comes the pressure.
Wallace looking, overshoots his man, Hogan's, who was off target. Again, the coverage by Hunter. And Vanderbilt now will have to punt the ball to Alabama.
But, Bob, they had success in that first series. And even on that series right there, that last down, look at the pressure. You're going to see pressure from the edge, from the outside. You see the backers coming, and the Vanderbilt offensive line gives him time to look downfield. He doesn't get hit. Now, he's disappointed, but the key element there was that he had time to get the football off.
Joe Webb now into punt. 6 punts last week, averaged 38.5. Deep for Alabama goes Marvin Richard. He's going to signal for a fair catch and take it. Alabama will have excellent field position at its own 43-yard line. A 36-yard punt by Joe Webb. Now time for our Nations Bank starting lineup for Alabama on offense.
Well, we've heard all about Shaun Alexander, number 37, but Quincy Jackson last week had 11 catches. That's outstanding. And up front, the offensive line that should give a lot of time. We've highlighted, talked a lot about Chris Samuels, number 60. Cuthbert, McDonald, Hogan, and Red Mill are all good football players.
Samuels at left offensive tackle, and Vanderbilt was talking their coaches this week, talking about what an outstanding job he did against BYU. A little horse, Alexander on the first one. Not much there as Vanderbilt stuffs him, and so Alabama will have a second down at about 8. There's John David Phillips, the senior from Anniston. He's one of those guys, if you stay, you'll play, and that's what Phillips has shown.
Just a remarkable story. Stayed the 5th year, and he's getting his dream.
Started off on the kickoff teams, then he played a little free safety. He was a short yardage quarterback last year for Alabama because he runs very well, and that's a key aspect of what Phillips brings to this offense, mobility.
That was an interesting call. The official had set the ball back behind the line of scrimmage where the point was. They came in and measured it and reset it back up. Now going out of a shotgun, Bob.
David Phillips says, I don't like what we got, so he's going to call a timeout. So, on second down, John David Phillips says Vanderbilt threw something at me I haven't seen before. And so, a timeout called by Alabama. We are scoreless. First quarter at Legion Field in Birmingham, the Tide and the Commodores.
Welcome back to Legion Field, Alabama. Vandy, no score. 11:41 in the first period. Want to get you caught up on Fernando Bryant, the left cornerback for Alabama. Took a shot to the head. They've checked the vital signs. Which city are you in? What's your name? They've got ice on him right now, the back of the neck. He was up jogging earlier. I expect him to return to the lineup. Bob?
He's got to sing down the sideline and then runs out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Good first start. Jamie Watkins, the guy who had the angle on him and forced him out of bounds. But Michael Vaughn, a big play for Alabama, 27 yards.
And, Bob, it's the exact same play, that slip screen underneath where you allow those big linemen to come out. You see it coming back toward the ball. That's Vaughn. You can't miss tackles. You see Jimmy Williams, number 9, miss that tackle. You can't allow that to happen.
Michael Vaughn, of course, the guy has been battling injuries, but when he plays, he's very effective. You see for his career, 6 touchdowns, and an elbow injury in the spring, back injury all of last year. Alabama's glad to have him back, especially with Samari Buchanan out with a collarbone injury. The ball around and intercepted.
Oh, what a play.
Intercepted Doyle Crosby. The ball was tipped, and Crosby comes up with the play.
I think Crosby tipped it. The ball was thrown, and he went way up with one hand. It was going to be that slip screen again, Bob. It's a repeat of the same play. A lot of movement by Vanderbilt on the line. You see him switching around, a lot of people moving around. That's to confuse the quarterback. But watch number 63, Doyle Crosby. Bottom of your screen, right there. Now watch, up gets the hand to the ball and then catches the ball. It may have bounced off the back of Alds.
It might have hit Ian Smith.
Yeah.
58, watch.
I'm sorry, you're right, 58. Exactly. What a turnaround.
So Alabama gives the ball back to Vanderbilt. Vandy had turnovers last week, now they get one. Wallace on the out, got his man Hopkins again. And runs up to the 40-yard line, close to a first down.
And Bob, one of the things that has got to be a real pleasing thing for Woody Woodenhopper and his staff is that after last week's disaster to start the football game, they're starting to start with a little bit of poise. Excellent time to pass back here. You see the pocket protection. Watch, drive him off the line. Now, you got to get that cushion. That's Bryant. He's got to come up and have a better cushion than that. You can't give 7-8 yards. I know he's recovering from a little shot to the head, but you've got to play tighter coverage on the wideout.
Two tights now for Vanderbilt. That was a first down. Commodores on the move at their own 40. Jared McGrath cuts it outside. And a lot of red shirts. They swarming. Travis Carroll comes up to lead the way. And also Marcus Spencer. McGrath, the sophomore out of Ocala, Florida. Dad, of course, played at Florida. Said before the year his goal was to gain 1,200 yards. He only got 41 last week against Mississippi State. There's Spencer, the sophomore out of York, getting the start today.
You know, when Fernando Bryant went down, then you've got Spencer in a backup role there starting. It puts a lot of pressure on this defensive secondary.
Spencer was the third leading tackler for Alabama last year. Second down and long. Scoreless first quarter.
A lot of time to pass.
Wallace gets it almost complete. Great catch over there. Yoder, I believe. Yep. Todd Yoder goes up. His 6'4" frame helped him on that one.
Well, one of the things that the Vanderbilt coaches talked about was Todd Yoder going up for the football. He actually one-hands this. Watch, coming right in your face. Turn, look out here. Now watch how high he goes up for the ball. Look, way up high. One hand, gets the foot down in bound, makes a good catch. Things are certainly going Vanderbilt's way.
Let's see if they go to Yoder here on third down. 3rd and 7. Vanderbilt, second possession. This off the interception by Crosby. Wallace, look at the time he's got. Now it breaks down. He's going to run, and Wagner trips him up, and he's going to be close to a first down.
It all depends where his knee went down. And they've got him over the 50-yard line, which would give him a first down. But you talked about it during the play, the time. Watch this. You think 1,001, 1,002, you've got to get the football off now. Look at this. Step up, step up. Great fight there by their offensive line to give him time. Right here, he goes right there. Now he was not past that line when his knee went down.
It looks like you got a pretty good spot.
He certainly did.
Mike DeBose wearing a headset this year, trying to be a little bit more involved. DeBose, of course, shouldered much of the blame last year for the 4-7 season. Williams back in at wide receiver. That pass is deflected and tipped at the line of scrimmage by Travis Smith, the senior out of Montgomery. That fine Robert E. Lee program down in Montgomery, Alabama.
Well, one of the things that they really like about David Wallace is his size. In talking with Woody Woodenhopper, he said, I really like, he's big, he's tall, he can look over top of those defensive linemen. The offensive lineman, when you engage on a quick pass like that, you hit that defensive lineman, so he has to pull his hands down. They need to stay engaged a little bit longer.
Wallace so far today playing like the freshman in the second game of a Vanderbilt uniform. Second and long for Wallace and the Commodores. There's the slot pattern. That's Hogan's. He's in the Alabama secondary, and Hogan's is going to score for Vanderbilt. 50 yards.
Bob, this is a stunned Alabama crowd, but a celebrating Vanderbilt crowd. I'll tell you, it starts up front. Watch the protection and time that Wallace has. There's the underneath pattern. Now no one's going to catch him with that speed. He just gets out front there and just, boom, he's into the sideline. Well, that's an outstanding run. But the time, I'm really impressed with the time. Alabama's going to have to make some adjustments.
Fourth touchdown of Hogan's career. The extra point now by Markham is up and good. And Vanderbilt shut out last week, turning things over to the freshman David Wallace. And Vanderbilt jumps out to a 7-0 lead on enemy turf at Legion Field. Freshman showing a lot of poise. David Wallace leads Vanderbilt to the touchdown strike. The Commodores lead here at Legion Field 7-0. Now they'll kick it back to Alabama. John Markham to do the honors. Harvard Richard and Fernando Bryant waiting the kick for Alabama. A turnover by Doyle Crosby, an offensive tackle, set up the touchdown strike. And Fernando Bryant will take it 3 yards deep. Thought better of it. Now he brings it out. Breaks it and was tripped up across the 15-yard line. That's where Alabama will start it, but the big play is the touchdown strike to Hogan's.
And it's really an interesting play. What you have is you have motion out here, out to the flat. The receiver in the slot goes out and actually almost picks, and then Hogan's comes underneath. Watch this again, motion. Now watch, out to the corner. It's not a pick because he doesn't actually block him. He makes them go around him, and you can see the strike is perfect to Hogan's on the slant, and he uses that outstanding speed to come downfield and score.
Fastest man on the Vanderbilt squad, and he showed it right there. Alabama trying to enter it. Their second possession of the game.
Well, if you're Alabama, you're thinking, don't turn over the football now. Get back into your offense, go to your Hawks.
Alexander. Good gain on first down, right at 7 yards. And Shaun Alexander, the junior out of Florence, Kentucky, player of the year in the state of Kentucky in 1994. There's his numbers from last week. The 5 touchdowns, 30 points, third best in SEC history. Now an entry to Vanderbilt. Limping to the sideline is Jason Smith. Pickup for Shaun Alexander.
Boy, what a good block there. It's an inside block. Watch here, you're going to see an inside block in here. Now watch Alexander when he comes up there, he actually hesitates up in there. Watch, there's the pick right there. Bang, there's the block out. Now see Alexander, see how he kind of stutter stepped and followed his guard up through the hole? That was McClintock, I should say, he fought. But he got a great block by McDonald, number 70 on the outside end, Crosby.
Jimmy Williams saves the touchdown. Alabama now in Vanderbilt territory again. Swing pass. Alexander, a lot of white shirts there. And he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Good coverage by Vanderbilt. Here's a look at our Nations Bank small business starting lineup for the Commodores.
Well, Henry out there just got injured, and he's back in, but Alts really has to play well. Ian Smith and Crosby, they caused the interception. Jamie Winborn, 15 inner tackles last week. Good game by him. In the secondary, we all know about Fred Vincent on the other corner, but Jimmy Williams, the two-way player out of Baton Rouge, he's got to play well today.
Woody Woodenhofer says that his corners are the best in the SEC, Vincent and Williams. Here's the blitz. Vincent. They're chasing him. Phillips fires it long for Hall. He can't get it, just off his fingertips. It was Watkins actually with the pressure in this Alabama backfield, but still John David Phillips got the pass and almost got the speedy Calvin Hall.
Well, two things about John David Phillips on this play. What he did, first of all, is when he got the pressure, he dodged the outside backer coming strong on him and set right back up in the pocket and got his composure back. You don't think about that as a first-year player, but of course, he's a fifth-year player who just hasn't gotten much of a chance. Very poised, John David Phillips back at quarterback.
Third down long. Draw play. Alexander. Pretty good pickup for Alexander, but far short of the first down by about 6 yards or so.
Well, that's an interesting call because the defense, as a defensive player, you'll always give them that. You don't mind them running for 4 or 5 yards. But what happens on the play is you think Alexander's going to get stopped in the backfield. Boy, he has nice change of direction, really picks up his blocks well, and has outstanding vision into the hole. He sees the hole develop as it's developing, not when it opens up and tries to run through.
Ryan Pluton now on to try the field goal for Alabama. This is going to be a hefty boot here. 52 yards.
52 yards, that's a long one.
He knocked one through last week against BYU. He'll try from long distance. Plenty of leg on it. And he's off to the left. So Alabama misses the field goal attempt. And Mike DeBose hopes his defense now can shut down Vanderbilt. The last time Vanderbilt won at Legion Field in Birmingham, 1927, 14-7 over Bama. They lead early in the first. SEC football is brought to you in part by Solera, the new luxury coupe from Toyota. At your Toyota dealer now. Happy birthday, Bear. Yesterday, September the 11th, his 85th birthday. Dave, you can't come to Alabama without his presence. No. You know he's in here.
Oh, boy. You know the legend of this field is just marked with legends, and he certainly was part of it.
Stuffing Travis Carroll against Jared McGrath. Not much there.
Well, one of the things that Mike DeBose asked Travis Carroll to do is be a leader. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. The big guy was a leader that time. There's Mike DeBose. He said to him, he said, I want you to be out there. I want you to be an emotional leader of this defense. They really need him to bust out.
They think he can. One of those guys that's going to play on Sunday one day. Sophomore out of Jacksonville.
Well, he won that spring award, that Leroy Jordan Headhunter Award.
Wallace dropping back, drops it over the middle to his tight end, Elliott Carson. Not much there either. And again, it's Travis Carroll making the stop.
And Bob, it's an interesting play selection by Vanderbilt. You see right there, David Wallace looked to the sideline for the play. A lot of underneath passes. You see right there, slide, slide, slide. And you'll see Carson come just across the line, just a little dunk pass to him, trying to get the defense to run deep and throw underneath. You'll see a lot of crossing patterns because Alabama uses a lot of that base man free, where they play man-to-man on the wideouts and let their free safety just play the middle.
2 for 3 on third down conversions. Vanderbilt spreads it out. On third and long. Pressure backside. Wagner wraps him up and drops him. Clint Wagner, who had 2 sacks last week, gets his first today. As Alabama shuts down Vanderbilt, and the Commodores have to send Joe Webb back in.
Yeah, Wagner is a good force out there. He's a big guy, 6'6", about 224. He comes right all the way on the outside. You're going to see him come all the way around the outside. Look at this. Get the arm up, rip the arm under, just keep on coming. And a lot of times you have to consider that a defensive secondary sack because you're not supposed to come all the way around the outside and get to the quarterback.
Marvin Richard back, awaiting a punt from Joe Webb. That's a better kick, high, long spiral, and a fair catch made by Richard back at the 27-yard line. Good punt, 46 yards on the kick. Stay tuned at halftime for our Bell South You Call the Play feature. A look at a big call from SEC games past.
Bob, this has been an incredible game right now for Vanderbilt. They have the momentum. Alabama really needs to come in there, and they need their quarterback, just John David Phillips, just to come in and say, listen, we're going to drive the ball down their throat. We're not going to get cute. We're going to do what we do best. They see a lot of movement on Alabama's offense. Shotgun slots, no backs.
Calvin Hall, not much there. Fred Vinson able to come up and make the stop after a pickup up 2. Vinson, the senior from North Augusta, South Carolina, has been a key member of the Vanderbilt team, a specialist, the best specialist as a freshman, and now a guy they think is going to be a first-round draft pick.
Oh, yeah, outstanding football player. And his evaluation by Woody Woodenhofer is, if he's going to be a number 1, I can tell you Woody Woodenhofer knows number 1 draft choices. Would he have 6 off that defense last year, Bob?
Fred Vinson also had 2 interceptions last week against Mississippi State. He was a real bright spot for Vanderbilt.
Here comes pressure by Vanderbilt.
Alexander makes the move and down the sideline, run out of bounds in Vanderbilt territory. Vandy had 10 guys on the line that time, and Alabama able to crack through it for a 15-yard gain by Shaun Alexander.
Well, Alexander, they pick up in the middle, they give him time, and watch Alexander just bang, cut right inside. Now, get to the outside, and watch this setup block right down here on the right of your screen. That's Jimmy Williams. He just kind of made the defensive back come inside. That's Bowens come inside, and then Williams just got him turned, and whoom, down the sideline goes Shaun Alexander.
Alabama's going to play 7 or 8 wide receivers in this game today. There have been times the past several years they might have just played 2. But they're trying to get this wide open offense going. That ball deflected, intended for Quincy Jackson, and Doyle Crosby, I think, stuck up his mitts. He had the interception earlier. Yeah. How many interceptions you ever get?
Wait a minute now. I haven't. Wait a minute. I got to tell you about that. I'll tell you in a minute.
Let's get into David Logan right now. David?
All right. Thanks, Bob. Jason Smith, the news is not good right now. He has a right calf injury. As you can see, it's wrapped heavily in ice. Now, what they're going to do, speaking with Paul Federici, the head trainer for Vanderbilt, they'll take him in at halftime, x-ray it, see what the damage is, and if he can return, he will. But right now, it's not looking good. Bob?
Okay, David, we'll keep an eye out on that. Vanderbilt needs all the defensive folks they can muster. Alexander hitting the backfield and dropped. Good penetration that time. Nice play by Ian Smith.
Now, let me get back. I have a 7-yard per average carry in the NFL.
Really?
That's right. 2 interceptions. One I ran for 14 yards, and one I got killed by a little defensive corner like he killed me.
Now, how did you ever intercept a pass? How did it happen?
Got tip ball just like Crosby did there. Ball came straight down to my hands, and these hands, these talented hands, were able to pull that ball in. Wasn't from Stabler or anything, but
we'll wait until we see it on video. After this thing's getting bigger and better as the year goes by.
Well, 4 years after it happens, you can be an All-American.
3rd and 12. Phillips, pressure, sack. Our man, Doyle Crosby again. He gets up the sack, his 2nd of the season. So he's got an interception and a sack, and Alabama's got to punt it away.
Boy, just a freshman, but Crosby getting great penetration outside there. Watch this. You drop back, you look. Good coverage there. Now look, see Crosby is already in the backfield. Now, just hold on. Don't let go. But just a freshman, number 63. He's playing like a superstar already.
Daniel Pope in to punt for Alabama. Redshirt freshman, Doyle Crosby. Fort St. Joe, Florida. Back deep, Alvin Duke for Vanderbilt. High spiral. 17, Duke. Makes something happen in the red shirt skate as he gets across the 25. So Vanderbilt will have it right there, 1st and 10. Next week, we'll be in Nashville, Music City. These same Vanderbilt Commodores go up against Rufus French and the Ole Miss Rebels. Romero Miller made such an impressive debut on Jefferson Pilot Sports last week as Miller had the 2 touchdowns over 300 yards. And so we'll have Vanderbilt and Ole Miss next week from Nashville. Some of the debuts last week, the rookie quarterbacks. Quincy Carter at Georgia had an impressive start. So did Romero Miller. And, of course, T. Martin in Tennessee. They won at Syracuse. And John David Phillips. Anthony Wright coming back off the knee surgery led South Carolina to a win. Madre Hill back in the lineup for Arkansas, and Terry Jackson, of course, for the Gators of Florida. Average attendance last week, 67,000 at SEC games around the country.
Yeah, so that's impressive, Bob, when you think that Tennessee played on the road, and they're usually good for 105 or 6,000.
Well, that probably brought their average down.
It probably did.
50 last week at Syracuse because it was a sellout crowd. You see, Vanderbilt leading 7-0. Wallace has to take the timeout as Vanderbilt trying to confuse him. Alabama trying to confuse him with the defense.
Well, really an important series for Vanderbilt. They've got to be talking in that huddle. Don't make mistakes. They've got to be saying to their quarterback, David Wallace, don't force the football in.
You want to say to Crosby, just keep on doing what you're doing. He's got 2 tip passes, 1 interception, a sack. He's having quite a football game.
Here's how the top 25 shakes out around the country this year, as Ohio State had that big opening win at West Virginia. Florida State knocked off Texas A&M. They play NC State today. They're the Gators. LSU and Tennessee in the top 10. Georgia, 15. Of course, next week, Tennessee and Florida square off at Neyland Stadium under the lights in front of about 110,000. Wallace, pressure. He's got a man down the sideline, but he undershoots Rodney Williams. Williams came out of the the backfield, just in on that play, snuck down the sideline, and there was a blown coverage for Alabama.
And I wonder if the ball didn't slip out of his hands, because when Wallace threw that football, he was kind of falling back a little bit, and the ball came off his hand really wobbling. But that was wide open. That was going to be a long run. Good vision by Wallace. That was not a primary receiver. That's a secondary receiver. You pick up, look downfield, look downfield.
And you see the injured Commodore, Jason Smith. Crutches heading off for the Vanderbilt locker room. Wallace got a man, overshoots Hogan's. Hogan's at 5'10". Couldn't climb up the ladder and grab that one. That had a lot of zip on it, though.
Well, I'm still impressed by Vanderbilt's offensive line, because they're giving great protection. Look at this. You're going to watch the quarterback drop back, set up in his pocket. Now look at the blocking up front. Everybody's got one in front of them. Boom, they're knocking him down. They're pushing him. He's staying in the pocket. He's not having to step up from backside pressure. Alabama's got to start getting some pressure, and they'll make adjustments. They're going to bring one of those outside backers on the edges and bring them from the sides to get that pressure.
They brought both the middle backers that time of this game. Now they rush three. Wallace over the middle, overshoots Jones, intercepted. Warren Faust picks it off. Faust down to the 27-yard line of Vanderbilt. Wallace overshoots his man, and Alabama makes him pay. The nickelback, Warren Faust, returns it 27 yards, and Alabama in good field position, but there is a flag down.
I think the flag is going to be a clip, but I think what happened there, I think Wallace tried to place the football instead of throwing the football. I think you're going to see a clip against Jeff Barnett, the center. Watch number 50 right there in your screen. See if he doesn't get clipped in the back right there.
Clint Wagner looked like knocked him down.
Again, you can't place the football. You got to throw the football. In other words, you just got to drill it in there. We may see that clip again come up to the right of your screen. Right there is the clip on number 50, Jeff Barnett, the center, being clipped.
Dave, that looked like just an adrenaline throw that Wallace just wanted to zing that thing in there and just got under it.
Well, what happens is you see him so wide open, you've got time to stand back there, and what happens is you take something off. It's not like a normal pass. It's kind of like, oh boy, he's so wide open, I'm just going to place the football in there instead of drilling the football in there, and it floated on him.
Alabama's been in Vanderbilt territory every time it's had the football, but yet to get on the scoreboard. Alexander, the cutback. He picks up about 3. That's one of his strong points, Dave. You don't teach a running back to cut back. They've just they have to have it.
Well, they have to have vision. You're right, Bob. They have to see that. They have to feel it as it happens. But Shaun Alexander, the impressive thing I see about him is setting up his blocks. It's almost like the defensive back just kind of starts to come up, and he fakes him. He makes him cut. He cuts back off his blocking back so well.
Dustin McClintock, the fullback, and the standing tailback is Shaun Alexander. On second down, about 6 yards to go.
10 men up.
Alexander breaks it. Alexander's got a lot of room to run, and he's going to score, but there is a flag down.
Bob, Vanderbilt had 10 men on the line of scrimmage. The minute Alexander broke through, he was gone. Now, did Vanderbilt line up in the neutral zone?
Offsides, Vanderbilt, yes.
Touchdown, Shaun Alexander. Vanderbilt gambles, and when you bring everybody up, there's no second line of defense, and Alexander popped it.
See right there, just reading those blocks, burst through the hole. Now there's nobody in the secondary. They had 10 men on the line of scrimmage. They were going to stop them, and it's a gamble all defense. If you don't stop them, that's the result, and they run from 40, 50, 60 yards out.
Daniel Pope into hold for Ryan Flugner. As Alabama looks to tie it up. Oh, the kick is good. Somebody might have deflected at the line of scrimmage, but Shaun Alexander scores his 6th touchdown of the season as Alabama, with 27 seconds to go in the first quarter, ties it up.
There you are, 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Good block there by number 30, McClintock, kicking out the outside backer. Shaun Alexander reads the block, cuts right back inside. You don't see anybody else in the picture. Again, right at you. This is it. Read the block right there. You see the out kick out there by McClintock, number 30 on the outside backer. Shaun Alexander off to the races. Now, how are you going to hold up 6 there? It takes a thumb this time. Last week he held up that hand saying 5.
7-7, Vanderbilt and Alabama. Scoring drive didn't take long. 48 seconds for Alabama that time.
It was by a mistake.
mistake. Vanderbilt made a mistake. We talked about how they had to play perfect football. That's the result of a mistake. Turnover, defense gets the football back for you. They go to Shaun Alexander. He does what he does best.
Last year against Vanderbilt, Shaun Alexander, 6 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. He's already surpassed that here in the first quarter. Jimmy Williams down back deep for Vanderbilt. Now the Commodores need to come up with another big play as Bama's tied him up. Short kick, Williams at the 7. He's trying to get outside. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So Vanderbilt takes the ball at the 40-yard line, 33-yard return by Jimmy Williams.
Boy, and he set up some nice blocks that time on that return. Gave him excellent field position.
Jewett Hopper coming over, putting his input into the defensive aspects of Vanderbilt. Dave, Woody does that once in a while. He'll try and come up with a big play, knock you behind the line of scrimmage. But when you bring that many guys up, you've got to make the tackle.
Oh, yeah. If you don't make the tackle, if that play was destined, if they didn't make the tackle on his line of scrimmage, it was gone for a touchdown. The minute he broke through the line of scrimmage, he was gone.
14 seconds to go first quarter. Wallace rolls, looking, chased, dropped, knocked out of bounds. Steve Stanley comes up to make the stop, as David Wallace couldn't find anybody open, and the first quarter comes to a break. But Vanderbilt has shown to be tough opposition in this first quarter. The Commodores and the Tide tied after 1.
Bob scores 7-7. Interesting play on this last one. What they're doing is they're doing tight end down inside, trying to hold. Now, run the line. They're hoping that the tight end Fleming will be able to sneak out here, that Stanley would come up and force the quarterback. He doesn't. He stays back with his coverage. No place for the quarterback to go. Wallace has to take the ball and just get whatever he can.
Handoff up the middle. Breaking a couple of tackles is Rodney Williams. A couple of yards short of a first down. Gary Knight comes up for Alabama to make the stop, and Vanderbilt again has a third down conversion they got to make. Here's a look at our Duckhead first quarter stats. The rushing yards, goose egg for Vanderbilt. Alabama with 103. You see the time of possession. Total yards, Alabama 129, and Vanderbilt 77, and Alexander already 113 yards rushing.
I think the most interesting stat is Alabama 7, Vanderbilt 7, and I think Woody Woodenhopper would take any type of a game, lopsided or not, as long as he's equal to Alabama.
Third down, about 3. Slip pass, juggled and dropped. Tough catch by Todd Yoder. Couldn't hang on to it. And now Vanderbilt's got to punt it back. Let's go downstairs to David Logan.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. You know, we've all been talking about David Wallace of Vanderbilt, the gutty for performance so far in the first quarter. Talking to Jeff Rutledge before the game, he said, listen, the best advice I could give him was that some of the best throws he'll throw today are the ones that he throws away. He said that if he does not come out and panic and make a lot of mistakes, we have a chance to win the football game. Now, one of the reasons why he's getting good protection, Jeff told me before the game, this offensive line believes in him. He's the leader. So far, he's doing a pretty good job. Bob.
Joe Webb to kick it. The punter had his mouthpiece out. And now a timeout's going to be called because there it is. Joe Webb didn't have his mouth guard in. They have charged Vanderbilt with a timeout. What, he said, what?
See that? What they do is they store the mouthpiece up in their heads, up in the helmet. See him pull it out right there?
If he could crawl under the bench right now, I think he would do it.
Yeah.
But you see, he had it tucked in his mouthpiece. He does that probably all the time, and yet he got caught with it. The officials said you got to have the mouth guard in, so a timeout is charged. Woody doesn't seem very pleased, does he? 4:15 to go in the second, and Vanderbilt and Alabama tied. Webb will try and do it this time with the mouthpiece in.
Well, it may not hurt them, but it only leaves them one timeout for the rest of the half. There's over 14 minutes left.
Webb to punt it away. Marvin Richard back at the 10. Johnny shakes it off the side of his foot.
They get a roll.
He does get a great roll. Down to the 13-yard line. So Joe Webb backs up. Alabama, 40-yard kick. No style points. It wasn't the prettiest one we've seen, but it worked.
No, it definitely came off the side of his foot, but the way the trajectory of the ball, it was just kind of going. You knew it was going to get that good roll.
Shaun Alexander bringing it back out. 100 yards already. 113. You see the other ones last couple of years. The 96, 106, the 291 game against LSU. And of course, 115 last week against BYU.
Boy, a lot of movement up front on the defense. They really weren't set.
Shaun Alexander gets some blocks, cuts it back, and gets it out to the 30. But there's a flag down back at the 12-yard line. Jamie Watkins makes the stop. 17 yards the pickup, and it's going to be called back, it looks like.
Well, I wonder if Alabama moved out first. I thought I saw one of the guards kind of flinch and come out of his spot quickly. This may be all for naught. We just have to wait. Holding.
On the offense.
Well, he didn't come out. He held.
From the spot
the other officials today, Bill Goss, of course, the referee, Ray Moon, the linesman. Side judge is Len Harrington. Back judge is Prince Pollard.
And Bob, there you see, I'm sorry, but you see all the quick movement by Vanderbilt. They're trying to confuse Alabama, and they're actually confusing themselves a little bit. You see, they really weren't set in there. But not to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And you see the holding call in there. The umpire today is Mike Wallace, line judge Mickey Haddock, field judge is Raymond Carter, and the alternate today, Mike Shirey.
Big down here. You've got to stop them down here. Get good field position for your offense. Big series for Vanderbilt.
Off the distance penalty. Alexander gets out to the 12. You know, Mike DeBose in preseason said, you know, the big thing about Shaun, can he stand the physical punishment? Because he might have to carry it 30 times a game. So he was concerned about him getting in the weight room, being bigger and stronger. And so far through, what, a game and a quarter, he's held up well.
Yeah, I talked to him before the game when we were down on the field, and he walked over and said hello. And I said to him, I said, Shaun, how many times do you expect to carry the ball? He said, well, I'd really like to carry it more than what they want me to. He said, I expect to carry 20, 25 carries. But he talked about how he'd like to carry more, so he must be thinking up in the 30 range, Bob.
Alabama with the 4 wideouts on 2nd down and long. Phillips. Timing pattern to Calvin Hall. They'll be short of the first down by about 5. Fred Vincent, they go right at him.
Well, that was an interesting turnout, quick pattern, hoping that Vincent's playing deep, just pick up some yardage so you get in that 3rd down and maybe 5, 6, less than that. This is a big down for both teams.
The quarterback coach at Alabama is Charlie Stubbs, quarterback coach at UNLV. And, of course, John Denton last year led the WAC in passing. State on top of Memphis. That's in the 1st. Over in Starkville. Oh, that's a Liberty Bowl today. Memphis playing at home.
You see Vandy drop out of that pressure.
Alexander seen there for a second, but he was stuffed on the play by Joel Crosby and Lamont Turner, the linebacker, coming up.
Boy, Turner did a great job that time. Slid to the hole, caught Alexander, and just held on and used that great leg strength. When you make a tackle, the one thing you don't want to do if you're a linebacker is just hold on and drag him down. And that's not what Lamont Turner did. He got into him, and you right away saw those legs just pumping. You remember driving that old sled. That's exactly when that practice comes in, tackling.
So Bama 0 for 4 now on 3rd down conversions, and Alexander has to go to the sideline. He'll turn things over to Daniel Pope, who will punt it away. With his mouth guard in.
Yeah, see if Vandy doesn't come after him this time. They know they're going to get good field position.
That's a good tip. Driving spiral. Going back in the play is Duke. It is 25. Pretty good return by Duke. Over 10 yards, and Vanderbilt will have it at its 37-yard line. Coverage by Chris Edwards of Alabama on the return.
And Bob, if I'm Vanderbilt, I bring my defense over there and I say, listen, you are playing well. Just keep it up.
Woody Woodenhofer and the Commodores toe-to-toe with Alabama. Temperatures in the mid-70s, overcast, so almost a perfect day for the fans and not bad for the players. Alabama and Vanderbilt tied 7-7 here at historic Legion Field. Vanderbilt, no yards rushing in the first quarter for the game, only 7 last week against State. 34 rushes, only 37 yards. They've got to be better on the ground. Now they go to the air. Hogan's trying to get free, bumped. contact, no flag. Pass incomplete. Might have been an uncatchable ball, I think.
Yeah, that's what I think it was, too. It was an uncatchable ball. The safety coming over and playing deep just ran into him, but it's almost that ball was not. That was Marcus Spencer, number 41, the center. Watch, he's going to play safety. He's going to come over and buff, but look how far over the ball is. Way overthrown. It's,
What, 10 yards or so? Yeah, Wallace turned around and looked at the official and turned around and said, hey, wait a minute, look right there, throw a flag.
They said, hey, rookie, you're not going to get that call. Get back in the huddle.
They're going to say, you wear a jersey, you don't wear one of these striped uniforms.
Wallace now, though, has missed his last 5 attempts. He's going to try to break that string. Pressure. Throws it away. Dangerous. Knocked out of bounds. Incomplete.
well, that's the first close to make the mistake he made, other than the interception, because you don't throw that football up. I thought he had Fleming come off the line real quick and had him open underneath. But watch this. When you're going down, you don't throw this ball side-armed underneath, underhand. Look at this. He escapes danger there. What you should do is just throw the ball. If you're going to throw it, you throw it just before that, Bob. Just throw it, downfield 4 or 5 yards just to try to keep out of pressure and not take that big sack.
That's Steve Crosby, the new offensive coordinator. His first college job. He's been in the pros for many, many years. Trying to adjust to college football. He said he liked Wallace the first time he saw him. Busted play here. Chase from behind and sacked. Alabama swarms him. And making the stop for the Crimson Tide, chasing him down, was Kendall Moorhead.
Boy, there's not a lonelier feeling for a quarterback than when there's a broken play. You go to look and you go, uh-oh, and now you're out there by yourself. You hear those thundering hoofs coming down after you, and there's nothing to do but eat the football. But Vanderbilt, again, they've got to take advantage when they get an opportunity. That time they didn't take advantage, didn't have any first downs, didn't take the pressure off their defense. Alabama's going to come after them now, get back into their flow.
And Crosby now trying to settle down his freshman quarterback. Webb kicks Richard, a fair catch at the 34-yard line, and that's where Alabama will take over. Wallace, of course, had the early success against Hogan's, and he's not been able to duplicate it since then.
Well, it's been a little bit different pass selection. Now he's going to that fake action, roll out, naked boot, come out there and try to hit the tight end. Needs to go back a little bit to those crossing patterns. For John David Phillips, it's easy. You got a guy number 37 back there, Shaun Alexander, who had over 100 yards in the first quarter.
Quincy Jackson. And he'll pick up close to the 40-yard line, a pick of about 6 on first down. Ansley Battles makes the stop for Vanderbilt. First reception for Quincy Jackson, who last week had 11 catches against BYU, averaged 9.5 yards per catch. At a career high 11 receptions. The record for Alabama is 12 receptions in a game. That was set by David Bailey on a couple of times against Tennessee in 69 and also in 70.
Well, Bob, when's the last time you had a wide receiver get 11 catches? And you didn't hear a whole lot about it because there was so much acclaim about Shaun Alexander's day.
Second down. Phillips looking for good mobility. Breaks a couple tackles. Brings it back across this side of the field, and then he's run down by Fred Vinson.
Wow, you talk about closing speed. I thought that John David Phillips was going to break to the outside.
But I want to tell you one thing. It looked like they poured hot water on the back of Fred Vinson, number 1. 3 missed tackles on this play.
You come out here, roll, your receiver's covered now. What do? Start cutting the ground. Look right here. 1 missed tackle. There's another one. 2 missed tackles. There's a third. But look at Vinson coming in there. Bang.
Fred Vinson makes a big play. Now Alabama needs one. 0 for 4 on third down conversions today. 9 minutes to go, second quarter.
Oh, no pressure.
Phillips got his man over the middle. That's Michael Vaughn. And Vaughn's got a first down at midfield. The junior out of Clarksdale, Mississippi, comes over the middle and makes the grab. Good for 15 yards at an Alabama first down.
Well, the same bug that bit Alabama without getting pressure on Vanderbilt is now biting Vanderbilt. And that's no pressure on the quarterback. Nobody up in his face. Trying to drop in there, drop your secondary. And John David Phillips is clapping his hands saying, yeah, that's a conversion.
So first down right at midfield for Alabama. Nobody in the backfield. 5 wide receivers. Slip screen that time smelled out by Vanderbilt. Michael Vaughn is knocked down by Jamie Winburn.
Boy, Winburn just played that play really well. 5 wide outs. You got to put your backers out there. There's no threat of a run unless it's a quarterback run. And Winburn just had him all the way across the field, came underneath the block for his 4th tackle. He's all over the place.
Last week, 15 tackles and a sack. We mentioned the fact that Vanderbilt lost 7 starters off last year's outstanding defense. Raheem Batten, one of those, hurt during spring practice, a nerve injury, so now he's still in school but just can't play. So that's 7 big holes they had to fill. Phillips, out Banner, broken coverage. Eric Locke is wide open. Another first down to the 36-yard line. The freshman out of Murfreesboro, Riverdale in Tennessee, makes the reception and the pickup of 17 yards.
Boy, you cannot give a quarterback this much time. Watch this. You're going to just see down and curl around in the middle. Boom, right there. Curl. Now he's wide open. Loses his separation there from his coverage. And you know that's got to upset Woody Woodenhofer. Look at that. He knows it. If you don't get pressure on that quarterback, you just cannot give him enough time. Again, 5 wideouts. No back. No threat of a run. Come and get him, defense.
Everybody's the line of scrimmage. This looks like a Sandlot game now to flag down. There were 22 guys on the line of scrimmage that time. Well, maybe 21 because John David was in the backfield. Other than that,
he wasn't far in the backfield. He was under center, but you're right.
And Vanderbilt wasn't counting 1 Steamboat, 2 Steamboat, 3 Steamboat. They were coming.
Oh, they were going to come. When you do 5 wideouts, you've just got to pressure.
Dead ball foul before the snap. False start. On the offensive line.
On the offense, that's 5 yards. When you got them up there, you know they're going to come. You're an offensive lineman. You're sitting up there. And, I mean, if anybody clears their throat in the first 3 rows, you're going to jump off sides.
7-7 our score. 7-12 now. The clock running here in the second quarter at Legion Field in Birmingham. Bob Kessling, Dave Rowe, David Logan with you today. Glad you're with us for our Bell South SEC Game of the Week. That was Paul Hogan, their outstanding sophomore center. Started 10 games last year and has really developed into one of the most consistent players on this Alabama team. Phillips back to throw again. Out pattern. Open. Gone. Stays in bounds and knocked down at the 30. Short of a first down. 3rd down and 3 coming up for Alabama.
And Bob, you like wide open offense? You're getting it today from John David Phillips in Alabama. They are flat out going to put the football in the air. They've got a lot of confidence in this senior quarterback. His offensive line's giving them good time. Watch Vaughn make a miss right here. Bang. Now look at Vincent. Don't quit. Get right back up. Get back into play. That's what you want defensive backs to do.
It's a 3rd down. It is 2nd down, actually. 2nd down, Alabama needs 5 yards.
A lot of changes on the line. Here comes the blitz.
Alexander tiptoes outside. Oh, keep running. Good hard run by Alexander. Might be short of the first down, but he was going to be knocked down behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, Fred Vincent's given up a little bit there. He's about 178 pounds, and watch, you're going to see the initial stuff. Watch number 1 get in there. Right there. Bang. Now watch that leg strength of Alexander. Look at that leg strength. Drive, fall forward. And you see Vincent trying to pull the football out. Heads up play by a defensive back, but Shaun Alexander's not going to give it up.
125 yards for Alexander, but Alabama trying to convert a 3rd down. They've not been very good with that today. Phillips over the middle. Michael Vaughn's got it. Vaughn's got a first down for the 22-yard line is where they're going to mark it. So Alabama finally converts, and the drive stays alive.
Interesting play selection. Fake it to Shaun Alexander, and then just find Vaughn over the middle, wide open. Little different offensive philosophy here than of course, the great Bear Bryant and then Gene Stallings, that run power offense. This is wide open football. And I think the fans love it, Bob.
First down, Alabama. Backside blitz and Phillips blasted. Ainsley Battles makes the stop. Boy, that was a blind side. He never saw him coming.
It's surprising he was able to hold on to the football because Battles is the strong safety. And he comes all the way from the outside. Again, right there, you'll see 22 outside. Now listen. Bang.
And Phillips not only thankful to hold on to the football, to have all his teeth still after that hit.
Well, that's the 2nd sack, so Vanderbilt getting a little bit more pressure on John David Phillips.
Battles had a big game last week against State with 8 tackles. Phillips, pressure, gets it to Vaughn, makes a tackle. And just picks up a couple. So again, 3rd down and long coming up for Alabama. Vaughn's active. And of course, he's one of the guys that worked on the construction crew at Bryant-Denny Stadium as they renovated that outstanding facility, which we heard got rave reviews last week on the BYU opener.
Sure did.
So Alabama today playing at Legion Field. And of course, there is the thought that one day Alabama will play all of its games at Bryant-Denny Stadium, as the city of Birmingham and the university still have a couple of more years left on this contract. There's the 10-play drive. This will be play number 11, but so far no points, and Alabama needs to convert on 3rd down. Oh, look at the time. Phillips now flush. Phillips gonna throw it away. Oh, into the end zone, out of bounds. He threw it out of bounds, but Quincy Jackson tried to bring it back in.
What a catch by Jackson. Did you see him lay out there? There's no way he was going to catch that football. That was a rocket out of bounds. Watch number 7 in the corner of your end zone. Look at this. Stretch out. Look at this. Whoa! And he catches that football.
That's a great catch.
Right here's where he breaks wide open. Right there. Now he needs to throw it to him. But he waits a little bit because he's on the dead run. But what a snag by Jackson. You see Phillips going, ooh, man, I should have thrown that football a little earlier.
Ignorant attempt. He missed earlier from 53. Now he tries one from 45. And the kick is no good. Score stays 7-7. Alabama 0 for 2 from long range with the field goal attempts. 7-7 with 3:23 to go on the second. We'll be back after a word from your local SEC station. Alabama has beat Vanderbilt 13 straight times, 27 of the last 28. But right now, as we are 3:23 left to go in the second quarter, we are tied at 7-all.
Bob, you talk about big series, and again, this is another one of those series where you've got a young quarterback in David Wallace. You don't want him to force the football. You don't want to put it on the ground. You don't want to make mistakes deep in your own territory.
Wallace going to throw it, lobs it deep, and it's picked off. Just what you said. Intercepted Alabama. Kevin Sigler picks it off, and he gets down to the 15-yard line. 6th career interception for Kelvin Sigler, and a flag down at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, that flag is going to be a blocking penalty, maybe a clip or so, but this ball was destined to be intercepted all the way. You've got to read the strong safety when you throw the football up like that. You can't lob a football. These defensive backs are too quick to recover. Strong safety just sitting back there, just playing the eyes of the quarterback.
After the pass interception, on the return, on Alabama, the penalty is 15 yards from the start of the foul. It'll be a 1st down.
So the ball moves back, but again, Wallace threw this one up for grabs.
Yeah, look at it. Now watch the strong safety come over. Look right there, just kind of playing underneath it. That's Sigler. We talked about him having a big day. He's just playing the eyes of the quarterback. The quarterback never looked off the main receiver, never looked away. Sigler just dropping back, bang. The clip was right in there. It gives Alabama, again, great field position. Well, look at this formation, Bob.
Phillips looking. Over the middle, Jackson. Touchdown, Alabama. Quick strike, Alabama offense. John David Phillips catches Quincy Jackson, and lightning strikes as Vanderbilt, just like that, gives up the lead to Alabama.
What an interesting formation. 3 wideouts to the right. Now look at this. Untouched. Nobody on him. Look at that. Right in the middle. Broken coverage. And again, just all by himself. Just look at this. I could catch this football.
Let's don't go over here. Quincy Jackson, his first touchdown of the season, 4th of his career. Now the extra point is tacked on. 20 seconds ago, it was a tie game, and now Alabama leads at 14-7 on the touchdown strike from Phillips to Jackson. Well, the first quarter went well for Vanderbilt. Second quarter, not so good. You see the reaction of David Wallace. Wish he could have that one back.
But that's all part of the learning process. But you know what's amazing? Your defense is playing good. What you do if you don't move the football is you punt it back to them because they're playing well.
Kickoff goes deep to Jimmy Williams. He thinks better of it. And Vanderbilt will take it at the 20. 2:53 to go. Now what do you do if you're Vanderbilt?
Well, I think you just play solid, play up front. You've just given up a mistake. You remember the one where he threw off balance and escaped with that one? This one that Alabama made him pay for it. Now, come out there, run your offense. One of the things interesting is that Vanderbilt has changed a little bit of their offensive philosophy. They were using a lot of crossing patterns earlier, trying to hit their wideouts on a crossing pattern across the middle. Now they're doing a lot of tight end delays, rollouts, and things like that. Go back to what you've done, and that has been successful.
Wallace, at one point, was 7 out of 10, but he's missed his last 7 passes. And of course, his last one was disastrous, the interception. Now they go back to the ground attack, and Alabama stuffs it out. Rodney Williams not getting much done up the middle. As again, Clint Wagner, who's been all over the field for Alabama, and Travis Carroll step up to stuff Rodney Williams, redshirt freshman running back. They have another freshman running back, Lou Thomas, we'll probably see before the day is done.
Well, for the first half, Vandy has played well. Their defense has played well. Their offense has scored on them. They've done some good things. They need to capitalize on those positive things, but don't make any more mistakes. You can't make mistakes against a great ball team.
4 yards rushing in the first half for Vanderbilt. There's a slip screen, and Hogan's drags a couple of the Alabama defenders with him out to the 25, but short of the first down as Kenny Smith makes the stop.
If I'm Alabama, Bob, I call a timeout. Why not call a timeout? Yeah, that's what they do. They just did call a timeout. Call a timeout. You've got 3 of them. Why not use them?
But it's amazing. Last year, Mike DeVos didn't wear the headset and said he was concerned about some of the communication, so he put the headset on this year. Also, no tie this year. And now David Wallace over trying to figure out exactly what the coaching staff what he wants him to do. There's a new member of the Alabama broadcast crew, but a familiar face for Alabama fans, the Snake, Dave.
Well, that's how he got his name, the Snake.
Kenny Stabler.
Outstanding. Fantastic years, and we'll have a chance to talk with him at halftime. He's a great teammate of mine.
And now he's up in the broadcast booth for Alabama alongside Eli Gold. Kenny Stabler, the color analyst on the Alabama Radio Network, along with the popular voice of the Crimson Tide, Eli Gold.
Is he trying to stay awake there?
It's almost halftime. Make it the halftime for us, Snake, will you?
And that's the great Eli Gold right next to him.
Dave, you have that effect on a lot of people. All on you. 2 minutes to go. Vanderbilt, let's see if they play it safe here. Alabama rushing 3. Wallace has time, goes to his familiar and popular receiver, Yoder. Todd Yoder brings it in for the first down.
Now the complexion of the game changes because now you're under 2 minutes. As soon as they set the change, you'll start the clock. But all of a sudden, you've got a chance to maybe get in field goal range. So now you're just complexion changes. Now you've got 4 downs, and now you're in a little bit more of a hurry-up mode. But again, don't make mistakes because Alabama will make you pay for it when you do.
Vanderbilt has 1 timeout remaining. Remember, they had to burn one because they're punted into his mouth guard. And Wallace zips that one, almost intercepted as the pass was intended for Hogan's over there, and it was broken up by Hunter.
Bob, if I'm Vanderbilt right now, I'm going to send somebody long. I'm going on a 30-yard pattern because I'll get that outside one-on-one situation. You've got a good chance for your wideout to catch the football. You're not going to get a tipped ball, and his offensive line is giving him great time to throw the football. So go a little bit deeper.
Isn't that what they do when they had it picked off, though?
Yeah, well, they got a tip, but that was just he threw it up for grabs.
Okay. Pressure, no time, and dumps it off complete to O.J. Fleming, and out of bounds at the 41 or 42 yard line of Vanderbilt, short of the first down, but the clock stops with 1:23 to go.
Now, one thing I like about David Wallace is his presence on the field. Now watch this. Step up, avoid the rush now. You know he's coming from backside, but look at him. Looking downfield. Last minute he throws the ball. I like that. Freshman has good presence on the field. Doesn't take his eyes off and panic when he gets under pressure.
Great baseball player, too. He's going to try and play both sports at Vanderbilt. And that offers from Baltimore to sign and play football. Is it complete? I think it is.
I think it was complete, but I don't know that he got the first down yardage. Looks like he had to go to about the 46, almost 47. It all depends where they spot the football.
Todd Yoder made the catch. Travis Carroll and Kelvin Sigler come up to make the stop, and it is going to be. And let's see, they're going to measure it. So it's going to be close.
Well, Yoder's a good target for him, 6'4", big target, goes up for the football. He catches the ball well in traffic.
Fourth catch today for Todd.
Now, if you're Woody and you don't make it, do you go for it? You're a few inches short. Yes, you are. Now, do you go for it? I don't think so. I think you punt it away.
Well, let's see.
Look at him there. No. Stay on. Oh, hey, you know what that was? Stay back, punt team. We're going to go for it. This may be trying to draw him off sides.
Well, you know, what do you have to lose? Again, Vanderbilt has not won an SEC game since 1995. 19 losses in a row in the SEC, so roll the dice. Fourth down and inches.
Well, they haven't made many yards rushing.
Alabama, let's see, are they going to call a timeout?
I thought they did. I thought they did call a timeout.
Alabama calls the timeout, so the Tide is out of time. And Arvin Richards going to drop back just in case they're going to punt. I wonder if Alabama's got the punt team out there. Richards back at his 25-yard line. And there's the quarterback sneak. Let's see if they got it.
Gosh, you got to look behind Shaun Wilson, 79, and Barnett, 50. He made it. He didn't make it by much, but I think he did make it.
Alabama wasn't sure he was going to do that because they had Richard in the game in punt formation.
Look at this, drive off the ball. This is just big man on big man, and all the quarterback does right there is just kind of grind your legs. Now, you see the official coming in right there? He had a great view of the football and marked the football exactly where it was first down. Now, try to get that 20, 30 yards that you got to pick up to get a first to get that field goal try.
Under a minute, clock runs, 50 seconds to go. Wallace looking over the middle. Yoder, ball deflected and complete. He went for Yoder. But Kelvin Sigler there to break it up. It'll be second down.
Well, I was watching in the line that time, and one of the defensive backs, I think it was Carroll, came flying through, and I mean, he just got stuffed on the line of scrimmage.
There's Steve Crosby. He's been with the Browns. Danhauer before coming here. Wallace now 11 of 23 for 102 yards. A couple of interceptions and a touchdown.
They do have a timeout with 42 seconds left, so they've got a chance to get downfield and get that field goal try.
Wallace moving pocket. Strong arms it. Complete pass to Nezi Ashanalu. And Ashanalu makes the catch, and it'll be good enough for a first down. The clock stops.
And Alabama calls a timeout? Wait a minute.
No, they marked it for the marking of the first down, and so...
Well, then someone had to call a timeout because...
Vanderbilt does.
Yeah, Vanderbilt calls their last timeout. Interesting because the clock stopped. Good hit right there.
Steve Stanley planting. Yeah. Welcome to the SEC, rookie.
That's right.
So Vanderbilt calls the time. Mike DeVos calls the charges over.
Now, Bob, from this distance, you're looking at about a 50, maybe 53, 54-yard field goal. That's a pretty good leg.
So we're 33 seconds away from halftime here with Alabama leading Vanderbilt 14-7. David Logan's been downstairs preparing for our halftime activities. David?
All right, thanks, Bob. Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look back at first half highlights as well as stats. Plus, we'll go around the SEC for other action. All gets underway at our halftime show. Bob.
And our flashback, of course, we'll have Kenny Stabler in here with Dave Rowe. They'll talk about SEC days and also about their days with the then world champion Oakland Raiders. John Markham warming up on the sidelines, and of course you're a Penn State alum. Today Joe Paterno goes for win number 300.
Yeah, I remember his first victory. I was there. 300 victories ago, I was there. Beat Maryland 15-12 or so. The defensive struggle, Bob, I remember it well.
First and 10, 33 seconds to go. Vandy down by a touchdown. Alabama, no chance. They came coming. Kelvin Sigler. He's had a big day, an interception, a couple of sacks. His second sack today. Now the clock rolls. Crosby said, get up there and spike it, stop the clock.
Well, seeing you take yourself out of field goal position by getting that sack. 13 seconds, 12. Now just throw the ball down. But now that doesn't really help you because you got 9 seconds. You can't kick it from here. That'd be a 64, 65-yard kick. So they've really taken themselves out of field goal range by that sack. And what a sack it was by Sigler. Coming all the way around the outside. He's the strong safety on the play. Remember we talked about Mike DeBose asking him to be the leader. Just came all the way around.
Steve Crosby, interesting this week, talking about the quarterbacks. Of course, he's been in NFL football as a scout and a coach for all those years, and said in the NFL, when you tell somebody something, they do go out and do it on the field. With young kids like David Wallace, it's a teaching process, and he's making the adjustment, and so is Wallace now to college football, and especially here in the SEC.
Well, if they get a first down, they can move the chains, but I think they're going to have to go for the home run.
Oh, Hogan's had it. Lost it, came out of his hands. Hunter was back there. Hogan's, I think, gave up on the ball for a moment, turned around, and there it was, and couldn't make the play on it.
Wow, Bob.
1 second left to go on the half.
This ball was thrown as well as you can throw a football. Look at Hogan's right there. He's got it. He's got it. He just loses it. He doesn't look it in. It's not really a good defensive play against him by Hunter. It's just Hogan's just dropped the football.
Now they're going to try a long field goal. John Markin's going to come on the field.
Well, this is going to be a long one.
His longest in his career is 49 yards. This is going to be...
How about 63?
This is Tom Dempsey range right here.
I was on that team. This is going to take a kick. Now, this is going to be a surprise to me if they try this. Maybe it's a fake. But 63-yard field goal, I don't know if he's got that kind of leg.
Billy Miller puts it down, and the kick is blocked, and that'll be the half. So Vanderbilt led 7-0 early, but Alabama comes back with 2 touchdowns. And Woody Woodhopper's team goes to the locker room trailing Alabama here at Legion Field 14-7. So Alabama turns it on in the second quarter. Now standing by with David Logan is Mike DeBose.
All right, Coach, first of all, in the first half, you mixed it up pretty good. First quarter, you ran well. Second quarter, you start to get it up in the air.
Well, we sort of got away from our offense a little bit. We let the pressure package that Vandy came with confuse us. We lost our poise a little bit and got away from things that we're trying to do. We got to spread the field, force the Vandy defense to have to defend the width and the depth of the field more than we did in the first half.
Defensively now, you're starting to get after Palmer pretty good, shaking him around, moving him out in the pocket a little bit.
Well, we're making some plays. We got to get better pass rush. We got to make sure we get containment, and we got to make sure we get some inside push, and we can't slip, come off the defenders in our man coverage.
All right, Coach, we'll see you in the second half. Thanks a lot. All right, the score here, Alabama 14, Vanderbilt 7. We'll be back with a look at a great game in SEC history and more in our halftime show after this.
Today's Bell South SEC Game of the Week is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Isn't it time for a real car? By Pizza Hut, home of your favorite pan pizza. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. You either have it or you don't. Life is the sport. Drink it up. By Morgan Keegan, the South's premier investment firm. By Just for Feet, where the 13th pair is free. And by Sonic, where we invite you to drive in for a change. The Bell South SEC Game of the Week is being brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. For insurance coverage and financial services that meet your needs, call a Nationwide insurance agent today and get Nationwide on your side. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. By Duckhead, khakis since 1865. By Amoco, you expect more from a leader, and you get it. And by Dodge, the truck stop of the New South, the new Dodge.
Alabama Sports Hall of Fame in downtown Birmingham, and the Bama fans in force today at Legion Field as the Tide leads at 14-7 as John Markham gets set to kick it off to start the second half. Again, Richard and Bryan deep for Alabama. The Tide leading it by a touchdown. And the kick will go to Fernando Bryan at the 3-yard line. On the south to Wally, cuts it back against the grain. And he runs it down the sidelines where Jimmy Williams slings him out of bounds. Good return for Alabama. David Logan now is downstairs. Earlier he talked to Woody Woodenhofer about the second half.
All right, Coach, first of all, you played him pretty tough in the first half. Quarterback made a few mistakes, but all in all, not too bad.
Well, I was really more concerned about our defense. We gave up a couple easy runs off a couple blitzes that really, if we'd executed the blitzes okay, would have been all right. But when they popped that against a blitz, Dave, you know, I mean, there's nobody back there. And we got to be smarter, and we got to do a better job of executing some of our pressure defense.
All right, Coach, have a good...
Little outlet pass to Shaun Alexander. Had a good game again on first down. Dave, one thing that Alabama has done, they've been able to gain yards on first down.
Yeah, the first down play is really important. You see there the possessions that they had in the first half. Vanderbilt had in the first half. Missed that punt, missed that field goal, but came back and scored. So they didn't drive the football as well as they should. They need to control it a little bit more in the number of plays per drive.
About 4 on first down. Alexander, and he is met in the backfield. Coming up to make the play was Matt Stewart, a linebacker out of Columbus, Ohio, the sophomore.
Bob, that was a good play that time by Doyle Crosby, number 63. He stuffed back his man into the pulling guard and really disrupted the play. For Vanderbilt, they've got to regroup. They've got to turn around and say, hey, it's nothing. We're in this football game. For Alabama, they've got to take control of this football game. As you said, first down is so important to pick up that 4 or 5 yards, bringing up that second and 3 to 7 yards.
He spun around and tried to hold on to it with his fingernails, but couldn't quite do it.
Well, this is an interesting pattern. 2 men right in the exact same area. You see Hall right there stumbles. Look at this, almost pulls that football in. But you see Jackson right there, too?
See if they had that stick-em stuff that the Raiders used to use when you and Stabler out there.
Lester Hayes. Blitnikov. Yeah, exactly.
Here's Daniel Pope again into punt. His 3rd punt of the day.
Well, the defense does their job. They held them. They're going to be 3 and out. Vanderbilt's going to get the football.
Driving low, spiral. Duke backs up and watch the ball kick into the end zone. That took a left turn.
Boy, that did.
He had it angled correctly, it looked like, and it just wouldn't go out of bounds. 62-yard punt.
Look at Mike DeBose. He went, wow, wait a minute.
So the possessions first half for Vanderbilt. You see they scored the touchdown strike to Hogan's on their second possession, but after that didn't get much done, Dave.
No, they really did. And that was back when they were throwing those crossing patterns and they had success with it, Bob. But you can't go. You see their last 1, 2, 3, 4 series, or 4 out of their last 5 series, they were 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You can't do that because it puts too much pressure on your defense.
Jared McGrath back in a running back for Vanderbilt, the standing tailback behind Wallace. And he gets the handoff. He was -2 rushing in the first half. A flag comes down late over on the sideline as Steve Stanley runs McGrath out of bounds.
Boy, and that can compound the problems because you pick up no yards on the run. You're trying to come out and establish a running game, and now if this penalty goes against Vanderbilt, it'll put them deep in the hole. I saw one of the Vanderbilt's players put his foot out as if somebody tripped him. I don't know if he thought maybe it was a trip. Let's see what the ref says.
Holding on the offense. Penalty will be half the distance from the end of the run, first down.
Bob, have you ever heard the old adage, east-west runners? That's what this is. East and west is across the field. You've got to turn up. You see the hold there? That's a pretty easy call. They were holding Stanley there, number 4. I think it might have been Carson, the tight end, on him. But, again, you've got to turn upfield. That's what great running backs do. If they see the yardage, they see the hole, and they dart upfield. Now, Vanderbilt, they have to think, don't make a mistake down here.
It's first down. Wallace waits too long. Sack, Jamie Carter. 5th sack of the day as the junior out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. Gets his first full sack in his Alabama career, had a half a sack last year.
And this is what they call a defensive secondary sack. In other words, the secondary had him so covered. But now you see Wallace's eyes. He never takes his eyes off this side of the field. He never looked back. That's a young quarterback's mistake. You've got to scan the field and look for that second and third receiver. If you don't, you zero in on one, you're going to get Ziegler back there making the interceptions, and your defense only has to play part of the field.
And we started on the 20 on this possession. formation. Now back to its own 3. McGrath tries to get room. Now you're just trying to get punting room almost.
That's just about what you're trying to do. I don't know. I've always thought in this situation, go for that 10-12 yarder. Look for that crossing pattern. If you don't pick it up, it's awfully hard to run for that first down in this situation. Now he comes to the sideline, looks for the signal. They're taking pressure off him, allowing signaling plays into him so he doesn't have to make those tough decisions. He has to make the checks, Bob, when he gets to the line, but the initial call is made from upstairs.
Let's see what Steve Crosby calls here. 3rd down on the boatload. Just throw it up the grade. Wagner from the backside facing, and the pass is incomplete. He was also feeling pressure. Carter, now a flag down in the end zone. Might be a late hit.
That might be a late hit. Now think about what this penalty could be. It could be 4th down, Vanderbilt punting the football out to Alabama, but if that penalty is a late hit on the sideline. Oh, okay. Intentional
from the end zone. Therefore, we have a safety.
There was no receiver in the area. He was just trying to avoid a sack. He was being pressured there by Jamie Carter, number 90. Watch right here. He's being pressured, and he throws the ball downfield to avoid a sack, but there was no receiver in the area. Even though he threw it 15, watch this. You're going to see Jamie Carter coming on the backside right there. Now, throws it down. Look where the ball lands. Nobody within 10, 15 yards. That's an intentional grounding. It happened in the end zone, so it's a safety. A holding call results in the safety, as does that type of a play, a penalty in the end zone.
And the Vanderbilt staff, I think they're still waiting for a late hit. Didn't get it. The safety pads the Alabama lead. Is now 16-7 tied. Alabama on the scoreboard. They haven't touched it yet. The safety against Woody Woodenhofer's offense. And now Mike DeVoe's squad will get it. They're going to punt. Vanderbilt will. John Markham. Joe Webb, excuse me, to punt it away. And Richard will field the punt. And nowhere to go. Vanderbilt good coverage on that punt after the safety. Alabama now comes to the field. Shaun Alexander, you see his totals today. He was devastating in that first quarter as he helped Alabama jump to the lead.
Boy, just burst through the hole. He's so big. Look at this little stutter step. Big run right up the middle. And of course, then look at that. Another one breaks right off tackle on this one here. This is one where he really broke their back on that blitz that Vanderbilt, as Woody Woodenhofer told us at halftime, they didn't fill in there, and he had 113 yards in the first quarter.
36 yards on the touchdown count. Alexander off again. Steps out of bounds. As Davey Watkins had the ankle on him, Alexander steps out. One thing about Alexander is he doesn't let you get many full hits on him. He's always turning. He's always moving.
Boy, you want to talk about squeezing through a hole. Watch this right here. Big man on big man right there. You see, he sees the hole, breaks back against the grain, and now just gets outside, uses that. And his legs are always churning. I mean, they're always moving downfield. He's a big package. And it's interesting because Mike DeVoe told us, he said, I told him in the offseason I want him to practice like he plays. He practices at 100%.
Richard took a shot and still hung on to it. Jimmy Williams blasted him, but Richard able to make the play.
Boy, that's great concentration. Just tremendous concentration by Richard down the sideline. Look at this. Look at the football all the way in. Watch this. You know you're going to get hit. He goes up for the football, looks at it, look at all the way in. Boy, that's just a great concentration catch.
27 yards on the catch. Arvin Richard. Nice play, nice concentration. And the ball moves down to the 27-yard line. And pretty good touch by John David Phillips on that pass.
Interesting first down. You go to a shotgun.
Clock running. They get it off just in time. Option. That was John David Phillips especially last year. And he pushes the ball down to the 20-yard line.
John David Phillips to the 20-yard line.
Dave, I'll give Alabama credit. They are throwing a bunch of wrinkles at Vanderbilt, aren't they?
Well, so much movement on the ball. They come out, they line up in one formation, they shift quickly, they have motion. You just see so many different formations. See, there's Neil Callaway on the left right there. That's him right there. He's the offensive coordinator. He's the one that's come up with this scheme. And Alabama, I'm telling you right now, they're telling the nation that they're going to play wide open offense.
Difference in the game. Shaun Alexander and company, 133 yards on the ground. Second down. And Alexander up the middle. Pulls his way to another first down, it looks like. Shaun Alexander dragged down by Lamont Turner.
And you know, it's amazing. Even on that play, Bob, there was no hole there. The hole was stuck. But Alexander comes up there with those quick feet that great running backs have, and he just makes a little dart, finds a little seam, sees that hole as it just begins to open, and picks up 1-2 yards. I mean, I'm amazed at his size and the ability. He has those quick feet, get him down in a hurry. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a kid from Tennessee with his running style.
Lewis?
Yes.
First down and 17. Phillips gets it off behind his intended receiver. They try to hit that little quick pattern. And the pass was intended for Terry Jones, freshman tight end. His dad's the strength coach here at the University of Alabama. Outstanding basketball player in high school. And did not play football his senior year at Tuscaloosa High School. And now the first true freshman to start at tight end since Larry Rose back in '85.
Well, the reason that is that freshmen, there's just so much to learn. They don't get a whole lot of time when you have talent like that.
Carter is deflected, intercepted. It was intended for Quincy Jackson. And there's a flag on the play. Vanderbilt came up with a football.
And I'm wondering if it's pass interference because it looked as if the defensive corner went right through him.
Wally Conyers, another defensive tackle, is the guy who came up with the football.
It wouldn't be on the line, but I think the corner, what happened was the play took a little bit long. It was supposed to strike right away. And I'm not so sure that the corner, and it might have been Jimmy Williams, came right through the receiver and hit that ball up.
So let's see if it's a pass interference play on Jackson, push in the back.
Right there, you see the defensive back come? Oh, it's holding. Okay, holding him off the line. So that gives him the first down. Again, we may see it over here on the left of your screen. See the hold right there? That's number 9, Jimmy Williams. They call it a hold off the line of scrimmage. There's the interception. Boy,
that would have been something to have Crosby and Conyers come up with interceptions in the game, but as it turns out, third penalty of the day on Vanderbilt. So the defense almost came up with a turnover, and now they've got to blow their backs. First down, Alabama, first and goal.
Boy, Vandy really needs to stop here. Alabama, they need to keep it going.
Alexander to the outside, breaks one, goes to the end zone and scores. Touchdown, Shaun Alexander, his second of the day. The lead out to 22-7. And Ryan Flugner on to attempt the extra point.
Well, you can't make mistakes, and also you can't miss tackles. And that time, Vanderbilt missed the tackle. Jamie Winborn, number 42, had him in the backfield and just missed it.
Shaun Alexander, 15 carries, 156 yards. His second touchdown of the day, and Alabama taking control. Scored a safety and a touchdown here in the third quarter. They pushed the lead out 23-7. Alabama scored 23 unanswered points since Vanderbilt struck first in the first quarter. The ball, good kick out of bounds. Jimmy Williams can't run it down, and Vanderbilt will take it first and 10 at the 20.
Bob, a couple things happen on this play. First of all, you're going to see McClintock come and knock on the outside. He's got battles out there. Alexander takes the ball, cuts right back inside of that play, and is off for the run. Watch this. Good kick out there by McClintock. Bang. Now look at Shaun Alexander. Out to the outside, uses that body, and you just don't get a good shot at him. Good block downfield there, too. That might have been by Quincy Jackson, number 7.
So a terrific run by Alexander. He gets him the touchdown. You see the scoring drive. 6 plays, 71 yards. That's off the safety by Vanderbilt. And in less than 2 minutes, Alabama now 23-7.
Big series here for Vanderbilt. They've got to get something going.
Rodney Williams trying to get something. A lot of movement there, but only picked up about 2 yards. Fernando O'Brien comes up to lead the attack of the Crimson Shirts.
Well, I think if you're Vanderbilt in this situation, you're trying to run to establish a little bit of the running game. You're down in the football game. You're down by 16 points. You're going to have to put the football up in the air. Now, Wallace was very successful in that first half, using those crossing patterns, that underneath little that little stunt pass where he comes back underneath and picks up the backers. I think they're going to have to go that short passing game again.
Carson, the man in motion. He dumped it to him and he dropped it. Sigler was there, but Wallace threw that a little too hard, Dave.
Yeah, he did. He drilled it to him. You got to have a touch, but that's a very catchable ball for Carson. It's a delay. That's that same play where he delays. He blocks in. As the quarterback rolls out naked on that bootleg, he finds his big tight end. You've got to catch that football.
Last week, Carson had 3 catches for 16 yards in the opener, but he had a drop on that one. Now it's 3rd down and long. Vanderbilt early in the game converted on the 3rd down plays, but they've struggled since. Now it goes away. Travis Smith comes up, 6th sack of the day. First for Travis Smith, the 6th of his career. And Vanderbilt 3 and out. They'll give it back.
Well, you can't take that much time to throw the football. Watch this. He's back. He sets back up now. Look down. You got to pick him up. You got to pick him up. You just can't allow it. You see the person who made the tackle, Travis Carroll. I mean, he was way off the line of scrimmage. Excuse me, that was Travis Smith. Yeah. 48. We don't want to get him wrong. His mom and dad get mad at us. But you just can't take that much time to pass the football. You've got to throw it in shorter pattern.
Webb in to kick it. Floating spiral. Richard makes a fair catch in Vanderbilt territory, and that's where Alabama will start at the 48-yard line. Our nationwide scholar athlete of the week is defensive end Clint Wagner from the University of Alabama. The junior from Fairburn, Georgia, has a 3.9 GPA in biology. Congratulations to Clint Wagner, our nationwide insurance scholar athlete of the week. Clint, of course, is an outstanding student. He also teaches a class, a freshman biology lab class at Alabama. He's an academic all-SEC performer. And also, he's had a big day today for the Alabama defense. Shaun Alexander, the ball carrier, not much there on 1st down.
And, Bob, now if you're Alabama, this is what you call go for the throw. If they drive the football here and they put it in for a score, they can just about take this football game away from Vanderbilt. But they need to control the football, run out the clock. Nobody knows that more than Woody Woodenhofer. You see on his left hand there, you see that Super Bowl ring, 4 championships with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He knows what ball control is. See all the shifting by Alabama? Quite a different offense this year.
Phillips flips it out. Quincy Jackson. He is knocked down after a pickup of a pass. Dave, what does the movement do? How does that disrupt the defense, especially a sophisticated one like Vanderbilt?
Well, what you do is a defense, you're in the huddle, you call it a call is like a rush 30E cover 4X. So that gives the line there, what they're going to do, rush. The 30E is the linebacker, and the cover 4X would be the secondary. All of a sudden, they come out in motion or movement, and what you have to do is you have to make audible calls, and each person has to hear it on the field, and you have to make those adjustments. So that's what you're hoping to do, to confuse them so that they don't communicate back and forth.
There's the rush. Phillips flushed out of the pocket, throws it, and it's caught by Alexander. Tough catch. He was free, though, but just couldn't quite stretch out.
Good pressure that time by Alds and Tyler Unzdicker.
So Alabama got good field position, but now they're going to have to punt it away.
Yeah, you see the pressure right there. Look at that. Alexander almost comes down with the football. But John David Phillips, that again is that vision, Bob. When you look downfield and you find somebody and you don't take your eyes off of it. Quarterbacks a lot of times panic when they get pressure and they just don't focus on the receivers downfield. But John David Phillips has done an excellent job of that.
So hope to punt it again. Drop it inside the 10-yard line. Aiming for the corner. He got it. Let's see where they're going to put it. Right about the 10-yard line. Terrific punt by Daniel Pope. Only 35 yards, but a perfect spot. And Vanderbilt is backed up one more time. They've been backed up all 3rd quarter and trail it 23-7. Back after a word from your local SEC station. Harper says you can't waive them, trade them, or cut them. You just got to let youngsters grow up and play through some tough times. And Vanderbilt now trying to fight through problems here in the third quarter. Backed up again, trailing 23-7, 1st and 10 at its own 10-yard line. Wallace out. Complete to Hogan. He dropped it. Couldn't hang on. Kelp Bailey on the defense for Alabama. Let's go downstairs now to David Logan.
All right, thanks, Bob. You hit it right on the head. Coach Wiedenhofer is telling his team to continue to fight. They're not that far behind in the game. He was addressing the offensive unit during the last time out and was telling quarterback David Wallace that to hang in there, make smart decisions, don't throw the football away. But then he echoed what Dave Rowe was saying. Has to make his decisions a lot quicker. Offensive line's doing a good job, but they can't keep Alabama's defense out forever. He has to get rid of the football. Bob.
All right, David. Especially David for Vanderbilt, some of the players, 13 of them on the roster today from the state of Alabama. But the homecoming has not been with them. As Rodney Williams is dragged down behind the line of scrimmage by Travis Smith. Dave, I tell you, those Alabama linebackers and also Sigler from the secondary, they put a lot of pressure on Vanderbilt.
Well, they do, because Travis Smith is a linebacker. Look at him shoot through. Once he sees the draw play, he's reading the back. Bang! He shoots right through the line, drops him for about a 3-4 yard loss. That's what you want your backers to do. When they make that decision, fly to it, and that's what Smith does. He's one of the leaders, had 5 tackles last week.
You see the rushing yards, Vanderbilt minus 25. Now remember, sacks are included in that. But Vanderbilt not getting much done. They had 37 last week. They're going the wrong way. Pressure. Oh, did he get out of the end zone?
I don't think he did.
Let's see. They haven't motioned anything.
Safety. Safety.
It's a safety, the second of the quarter for Alabama. David Wallace just couldn't get out of the end zone, felt the pressure, and dropped by Kendall Moorhead.
Watch this, just drops back. The pocket just gives him time, but he has nobody to throw to. What a good effort there. Number 54 is Moorhead. He fell down and actually just tackled him as he was falling down. That's great effort by the big man. 7 sacks today, Bob. 2 of them for safeties. Well, the one, if you want to count it, when he threw the ball, when he grounded the football.
Well, Vanderbilt, such a promising first quarter. They stung Alabama on the long touchdown strike from Hogan's. But since then, Alabama's defense is dominant.
Well, the thing that really took their steam out was when they made that mistake and threw that interception. Threw it right back to Alabama and allowed Alabama to go downfield and score.
Yeah, it was a 7-7 game then.
Exactly. 7-7 with about 2 minutes left. They were going to go in at halftime. At worst, tied. Tremendous emotion. But then all the emotion got out of the wind, out of the game, out of the sails when they threw that interception.
So again, Joe Webb to kick it off. Quincy Jackson going to come up and watch it go out of bounds. Going to mark it at the Alabama 30. Coming up next week, we'll have these same Vanderbilt Commodores. They go up against Romero Miller and the Ole Miss Rebels. Miller so impressive in his debut last week against Memphis. Ole Miss, Vanderbilt from Vanderbilt Stadium next Saturday. Hope you'll be with us at 12:30 Eastern from Music City.
Now, Bob, I got a question quick for you. Isn't that kick like a kickoff if it goes out of bounds? Can they make them? They can penalize them and make them kick it off again, can't they?
That's an illegal penalty for the kick being out of bounds. The penalty puts the ball 30 yards downfield on the 50. That's a first down.
Wow, boy, that's a tough penalty. Get the ball in midfield.
See, kicking it from the 20, 30-yard penalty puts it in midfield.
Yeah, most teams punt on a safety because the ball is so much higher. You can either kick off or you can punt. Now, I got to tell you a play I saw one time. You will not believe this, but Don Shula in a football game after a safety kicked an onside punt.
John David Phillips turned it up. Still on his feet. Hoppers over some of the Vanderbilt players against the 45. Well, the Alabama fans love it. What an unusual formation that was. They had trips on the left side, but they had them just lined up one after another.
Yeah, it was a triple to the left. It's 3 wide receivers, and they line up right behind each other. See right there? 3 of them right in the line.
They follow the leader.
Exactly. Now they just burst off the line. You got who? I got what? Wait a minute. And then John Davis says, I'll just run over some guys. Look at this. Boom. They're bouncing off me.
Now, John David Phillips is being taken out of the game. Remember last week, his hand cramped up on him. And his leg cramped up. And I think he might have hurt his hand when he was hit. They're going to work on him as Alabama takes a timeout.
Well, it looks like it's his right hand. See what happens when he comes down. Does he get hit on that right hand? He's got the football in it. Now watch again. See if he doesn't take a shot on the hand or fall on the hand.
He took a shot everywhere.
Well, he came down on his elbow more than his hand. But when he got up, he came over and they kind of looked at his hand.
I wonder if he got cut. I think that's what happened, Dave. I think he got cut, so they've got to...
Well, they're wrapping his elbow. They're wrapping his elbow.
4:37 to go. We're in the third quarter here at Legion Field in Alabama. Crimson Tide with the safety now has pushed the lead out to 25-7. So Alabama takes the timeout to work on John David Phillips. Now he goes over and talks to the quarterback coach, Charlie Stubbs. They get the call here as it'll be second down and about 4 yards to go. Phillips is tended to, wrapped up, and now Alabama comes back and goes to work. Shifted all over the field. Now they follow the leader to this near side. Phillips rolls, looks, fires, and it's almost intercepted by Jimmy Williams behind the intended receiver, Michael Vaughn.
Well, Jimmy Williams has got to catch this football. I mean, it hits him right in the chest. I know he's going down, but you've got to come up with big plays to get back in this football game. And if he had caught that one, you know, he's one of those wide receiver defensive backs that they use both ways. He should have come up with that football.
So now third down for Alabama. 3rd and 4. See the conversions, 2 for 9 for the Crimson Tide. Now they shift and go from the gun. Blitz. He reads it, throws it behind the intended receiver, Quincy Jackson, and John David Phillips got decked by Matt Stewart. Ansley battles on the defensive play for Vanderbilt, covering Quincy Jackson.
And Bob, it's an interesting chess match because Alabama comes out, they do their little shift. Woody Woodenhoffer's defense waits till they make that shift, then they come up and they blitz them and stuff them. So it's kind of a chess match back and forth. If you're going to do the motion, we'll wait till you do the motion, then we'll shift, and we'll come with our blitz.
Alvin Duke waits the punt of Daniel Pope. The booming kick that's angling for the sideline.
I think went out again the same spot.
Got the 8-yard.
Oh, wow.
It's been unbelievable. The field position. Alabama's kicking game has been terrific all day long. Go online to the Southeastern Conference at secsports.com. This interactive site features up-to-date statistics as well as cybercast coverage of the conference events throughout the year. Fans can also shop in the all-new SEC Superstore, qualify for a trip to an upcoming championship, or listen to weekly coaches' media briefings. That's at secsports.com.
Now, Bob, if you're Vanderbilt, you have got to come up with something. You've got to get some first downs. You've got to take the pressure off your defense. Their defense has not played that poorly. They played strong football. Offense has been backed up. Again, go to those little dump patterns, get some crossing patterns, trying to break something. Short passes, bang, make a decision, throw it out there.
Wallace's arm looked like it was hit as he threw it. The ball's incomplete as he was intended out there for Todd Yoder. 2nd and 10.
Well, he's had a lot of success with bringing that underneath receiver. I'd like to see him run that again. I think that was a really successful play, especially the one to Hogan's, where Hogan's came across on that dart pattern. The offensive line of Vanderbilt, they haven't given up. They've played well today. They've given them time. And again, you just keep on wearing out.
Grant, draw play. It's a couple up the middle. As Alabama there to shut it down. Darius Gilbert makes the stop. Gilbert, the freshman out of Oxford, and comes off the field. Cornelius Griffin for the Crimson Tide. And they're bringing their nickel package on 3rd down and long.
Interesting, Alabama making a lot of player changes. This is like it's time to rush now. It's 3rd down and 7. Don't worry about the run. Just get on your heels and take off.
Game up front. Wallace has time and throws it into the Yoder. Incomplete. And again, Kelvin Sigler on the defensive play for Alabama. He's been a standout today.
No, and not a bad throw by Wallace that time, but it looks as if he's kind of zeroing in on one receiver. He looks like he picks out a receiver, and he's following him on a crossing pattern. That time Yoder, because he needs to look off a little bit more and take those free safeties away from the play. But he's learning. He's just a freshman, and he's performing pretty well for a freshman. This is what you would expect, making tough decisions. You come over on the sideline, you correct those decisions, and hope that you get another chance.
Webb back in his own end zone now to punt this time.
And here comes Alabama on the rush.
They're coming. Oh, and he gets it away. Spencer almost blocked it and hit the kicker. Richard comes up with a fair catch. But a flag is down back near the Vanderbilt goal line as Marcus Spencer came in. There are also two flags, one up around the 20-yard line, so it could be offsetting fouls.
Well, the one penalty is definitely roughing the punter. The other penalty is thrown about 10 yards from the line of scrimmage.
This means probably holding.
Yeah, that's what you usually think by a defensive team holding on the way down. We're soon going to find out because all the Vanderbilt players come to the sideline.
Personal foul, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So they pick up the other flag, and they'll take the roughing the kicker penalty, and Vanderbilt's offense will come back out.
Again, this is roughing the punter. You can't hit the punter if he gets the ball off. You can't like get carried into him, get blocked into him, or anything like that. Because the punter is the most vulnerable position when he's in that punt stance with his leg up. Now, for David Wallace, it's a chance to take a deep breath. He's still got 3:13 left in the third quarter. A lot of times, I just think I'd get away from the rushing game. But look at the second half total yards from Commodores. Minus 29. They've done nothing. Crossing back.
Comes up, pays for it as Sigler comes up and drills it.
Hey, we can open up a new, I'm sure Woody Woodhopper's saying we can open up a new can of quarterback of wide receivers. They may have to. The crossing pattern. Oh, that's a big hit.
9-yard gain.
So Kelvin Sigler, the senior out of Mobile, started every game last year and was out the Alabama leading tackler. Today, a couple sacks, an interception, and 6 tackles for Sigler. Now McGrath trying to get his way through the Alabama secondary. That was on a second and short play, and so Vanderbilt suddenly showing some life on offense. Will have a first down as they move the ball to the 45-yard line. The announcers for the game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. Broadcast and copyright presentation. Any use of the broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. McGrath again spins his way to the 47 where he's shoved back by Alabama as Eddie Hunter comes up to make the play. Some scores today. Still a defensive struggle at the Liberty Bowl as Memphis is hanging with Mississippi State 7-3. Kentucky and Tim Couch, the air raid, spending out the Colonels. Virginia trying to win another one. Duke beating up on Northwestern, and Virginia Tech on top of Clemson. Ohio State shutting out Toledo, and Penn State beating Bowling Green, number 300 maybe for Joe Paul. Second down, 8 yards to go. Vanderbilt. Wallace throws it away.
Boy, he almost made a bad decision on that, Bob. He tried to wait for his back to come clear and out in the flat, and he almost threw an interception. That was just great coverage there. He was going to Yoder. Yoder was covered. I think it might have been Sigler who had him covered, but you just don't want to force that ball in there. He threw it away. Fortunately, he threw it overhead. But again, go to those crossing patterns. Look downfield. See if you can find Hogan's coming across on a pattern. They haven't gone to Adam Ditto, number 6.
And also new receiver in there right now, number 21, Cole Lancaster, sophomore. He's in the game in the slot. Yoder comes in motion on third down. Backside Sigler. What a big day for Kelvin Sigler. He just laid a wallop on Wallace.
Well, and as a quarterback, you have got to know that you've got backside pressure. We talked about Sigler being a leader. Look at him, number 20, just a dart. Nobody touches him. Got a big target looking right between that 1 and that 7. He puts his nose. Just too many people to block, Bob.
Wallace says, Coach, they don't do that in practice now. I don't get hit like that.
Yeah, I got this pretty red jersey on.
4th and 17. And Webb in the punt again. He's been a busy guy this quarter. Wobbly kick. Richard going to field this one and drop. Good coverage by Vanderbilt. Down there making the play, Brian Taylor. freshman out of Prince George, Virginia. Good coverage on a 33-yard punt, and Alabama takes over deep in its own territory. Sigler, career day, as the Crimson Tide with 8 sacks, and Sigler's got a bunch of them.
He does.
3 of them.
Well, they asked him to be a leader, and he certainly has been. If you're Vanderbilt, you've got to hope for a turnover now. You've got to hope for a fumble, something to happen, interception, tip ball. If you're Alabama, they keep on running that football. I know who I'd give it to.
They stuffed Shaun Alexander on the first down. Good penetration by Ryan Alds, the leader of this Vanderbilt defense in the front line. He probably looks around and says, where'd everybody go? He was a guy who played every game last year and had all those terrific seniors around him, and now they're all gone to the NFL. And Alds is the guy trying to lead up front.
Well, this big offensive line has given a lot of blocks, a lot of great blocks. We talked about Samuels. Cuthbert on the other side has played real well.
And the pass incomplete. Todd Yoder for Vanderbilt just headed off to the Vanderbilt locker room. Quincy Jackson trying to haul on that play, so we get David Logan to check on Yoder's situation. 6 seconds to go in this third quarter, which has been dominated by Alabama. It was 14-7 at halftime, Bama. Then a safety, a touchdown by Alexander. Another safety has made it 25-7.
Interesting, you don't see 2 safeties in a game very often. I can't remember the last time I did a game with 2 safeties in it.
Phillips out pattern too far, intended for Fred Phillips, and the quarter comes to an end. So Alabama miscues on the pass, and now the Tide will have a 4th down when we come up. As we head to the 4th quarter, they are rolling in Birmingham. Alabama leading Vanderbilt 25-7 after 3. 25-7, Alabama on top. The Tide trying to go 2-0 on this young season. Vanderbilt, of course, the goal today was to break that long SEC losing streak, but they'll need a big 4th quarter to come back in this one. Alabama will punt it away. Daniel Pope back at his 13-yard line. And Duke again is deep for Vanderbilt. Another good kick. Pope drive driven back to his 20-yard line. Gets 1 block, gets 2 blocks, pops it outside. Their flag comes down. Pope finally comes up, makes the tackle on Alvin Duke.
Bob, this may come back, but the block was not even in the play. It was on the back side of the play. It really had nothing to do with breaking free. This was just a great run back, and it's all going to be negated by either a block in the back or a clip.
52 yards on the punt. And they're going to bring it back.
On the return, blocking the back on the receiving team. Penalties 10 yards from the spot. 1st down.
Now time for our Duckhead stats through 3 quarters. And you can see the problems Vanderbilt have just rushing the football, Dave. -32.
That's incredible. Just could not get a running game going. And it was really compounded in the second half. You know, they just could not get anything going.
And Kelvin Stigler, the big day for Alabama. The defensive back who has really been the spearhead and the leader. David Wallace is back at quarterback. Greg Zolman was warming up, and they're going to stay with the freshman. Waits, throws, complete. Cutting was Asanalu, the freshman out of Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Bob, that's what they had success in the beginning part of the game. That crossing pattern right there, where you just come off about 4 to 5 yards, drive your defensive corner off of your coverage, and then just dart into the center and make a pattern. That's what Wallace had success. They ought to go back to that. They ought to just keep on going to it. And it's especially open because of that defense that Alabama plays. They play that, basically, they play a man free, where they leave that free safety to roam in the middle.
Lou Thomas, we mentioned him earlier. Now the freshman's in at running back and gets a greeting from the Tide defense. And so he stops right about the line of scrimmage as Darius Gilbert comes up. Next week, the Ole Miss Rebels given the Music City to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. We'll be there. Hope you'll join us. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. Fred Vinson will be trying to shut down Romero Miller. Here at Legion Field in Birmingham, it has been all Alabama in this second half.
When the Alabama fans, they've got to like what they see. This wide open offense, a lot of movement. Not the old grinded out days.
Second down. Crossing pattern. And Sonalou gets blasted. To make the play was Jeff Bailey and also Spencer. Bailey, number 13, sophomore out of Tuscaloosa Central High School. He blocked 20 kicks in high school.
I like that. My wife said if I spend another game at watching Bama football, she'll leave me. Well, goodbye. I'm going to miss her.
Lock the door when you leave.
That's right.
25-7, Alabama. Vanderbilt trying to get something done on third down. Wallace dumps it. Complete to Elliott Carson, the tight end, but it's short of the first down. There's a flag down way across the field.
And Bob, that was thrown 40 yards from the play. It's thrown on the opposite line, side of the field. I wonder if it's something along substitution, too many men, because it was almost thrown as an inadvertent flag. It was thrown way across the field.
Miguel Merritt came in, make the stop. Remember, Tony Dixon out 1 game suspension, violation of team rules. So Spencer got the start, and now Merritt getting to play as the backup at strong safety.
Illegal formation on the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Probably not enough men on the line of scrimmage.
Now Yoder comes back out from the Vanderbilt locker room, but he was not available for that series. And now he gets his helmet.
I love talking to Woody this week. He was kind of fun to talk to. He said, I'm here for the long term. I bought a house. I'm sticking it out. They're going to give me a lot of time. We're going to turn this thing around. Very, very positive. He's looking for positive things to happen.
Log cabin on an 11-acre spread there. Good high floating kick, and Richard makes a fair catch at the 18-yard line. 40-yard kick. Good hang time, no return. And Alabama has it inside its own 20. And they take over with 13-12 to go in the 4th. Alabama 25-7 as they lead here in the 4th quarter. Quarterbacks today. David Wallace threw a quick touchdown strike early, but since then has struggled a bit. John David Phillips, Dave, I think has been really pretty rock solid today.
Yeah, I really do. I think he's made good decisions. He's thrown the ball well. Just has had a good day as a quarterback.
Time, and he's on target again, this time to Michael Vaughn. It's going to be a first down for Alabama. Phillips got hit after the play, but he was right on target.
Hey, Bob, did that commercial say that those guys were going to work in the booth, the winners of that competition?
Yeah, I think maybe it's a day off.
Good decision here by Phillips. Look downfield, a little curl pattern, throw the ball in there. Again, big offensive line, giving a lot of time. Look at that. Some backside pressure late. Good decisions.
Ryan Alts hit him, but he'd already gotten rid of the football. Vaughn today, 7 catches for 66 yards.
On the line.
And right as the clock was rolling down, he decides, let's talk about this just a second.
But I saw a flag come down. I wonder if he got the timeout before the flag came down.
So timeout is asked for by Alabama. It comes with 12:33 to go in the 4th, and Alabama trying to go 2-0. Alabama going for its 300th SEC victory today. The next closest school in terms of victory is Tennessee with 250. So this proud tradition with the 20 national championships and 12 SEC championships. Trying to win back-to-back games to open up this season. John David Phillips on the roll, and the throw, and the completion.
John David Phillips pass, complete, Michael Hall.
Good strike that time by Phillips on the roll. Rolls away from the backside pressure. Just throws a strike. Bang, right down there. Good target. As you said, Bob, he's making good decisions. They've got to be happy. Across the field, got a young quarterback there, David Wallace, who's had a real learning experience today. Had some things go right, pressured a little bit, but has to make those decisions a little bit quicker. But he's not had a horrible day.
How about a reverse? 12 national titles and 20 SEC championships. Phillips over the middle. Good catch by Calvin Hall. Sort of hanging all over him, but he was still able to make the grab. Brian Taylor concentration.
Well, that is.
Reception.
That is. Watch Taylor, 46. He's all over him when he catches this football. Again, look there. You see the great concentration by Hall. See, he's covered right there. See Taylor, 46. That's just great concentration, looking the football in, not taking your eyes off it. You know, you see those balls a lot of times tipped or just kind of popped away when they take their eyes off them.
Also, guys already graduated. That's his marketing degree. They go to him again. So he's in grad school right now for Alabama. He's a big target, 6'2", and a senior out of Gallatin, Tennessee. One catch last week. And, you know, I tell you what, Dave, their receiving corps with Jackson and Vaughn and Hall leading the way today has played very well.
Yeah, and they're complementing their passing game is very much complementing Shaun Alexander's running game. The running game kind of opened it up, has opened up the passing game, and Alabama looks like they've got a strong offense. Their defense has played well, but their offense has played exceptionally.
They also hope to get Shaun Alexander back in the next couple of weeks now with a broken collarbone. Alexander on the count, around the left down. Gets across the 40 down to the 38-yard line. That'll be a first down for Alabama. It's nice to have it. And you've got third down and short. You can throw it back to number 37 and watch it go.
Well, you know, I was watching Jamie Winborn, number 42. He had him zeroed in. You'll see him on the left of your screen coming in there. He never catches him. Look at Alexander, just runs away from him. You know, he doesn't look like he's running that fast, but Winborn's a pretty quick linebacker, and he doesn't close the gap.
Kind of turns those shoulders on and in goes, doesn't he?
Boy, he is. He's a tight package. He's one of those ones that I hated those running backs. You can never get a handle on him. You just can't grab anything.
Trips to the up. Quarterback draw. You might have had a touchdown.
I think he would have. I think he would have had a touchdown. I think that when he saw the blitz, I think this is an ad lib. I don't think this is a called play. Quarterback drops back, sees the pressure right there. Now it just goes right up the middle. This kind of gets stripped up there by Lamont Turner, number 44.
Let's go downstairs to David Logan, Dave.
All right, Bob, very interesting. You and Dave kind of hit on it. If you notice, there's 9:51 left in the game. In times past, we would see Alabama just grind it out. But now under this new system, new offensive coordinator, we're still seeing them mix it up with a lot of short passes underneath, a lot of swing passes. This is new Alabama football, and they're trying to make it work in the SEC. Bob?
David, don't you think they're trying stuff also now they've got a comfortable lead? They can work on some things.
Absolutely.
Pitch back goes to Shaun Alexander. He works his way down to the 25-yard line. Another first down. Clock continues to roll. And Alexander keeps piling up the numbers. Lamont Turner with the stop, but there is a flag down.
Well, it's a late flag thrown. But you know what I've really zeroed in on a little bit? Dustin McClintock, big sophomore, 6'2", 260 pounds. He is the one that is opening up the holes for Shaun Alexander. He's that lead block. You don't get a lot of notoriety or a lot of pub on that, but he has really played well up front for that in that fullback spot.
Block in the back by the offense. Penalty is 10 yards from the end of the run. Replay second down.
So you take the yardage away from Shaun Alexander. McClintock yet to carry the ball, but he's opened up some big holes so Shaun Alexander can carry it and make yardage. They had Fernando Bryant on the field for Alabama. Now they bring him off. Bryant, one of those two-way players, but we haven't seen him on offense. Alabama shifts and moves with Shaun Alexander, the standing tailback on second down.
Vanderbilt on a blitz.
Hand off Alexander. He puts it up the middle. Shaun Alexander. And he gets into the end zone. Touchdown. His third of the day. A burst of speed by Shaun Alexander. He goes 35 yards right up the gut for the touchdown.
Well, the perfect call for the perfect defense. Vanderbilt blitzed that time, brought both of their middle linebackers right up the gut. And he just ran right on by Lamont Turner. Look at 44, run right on by. Boom, there he is. He's gone. Don't hit the quarterback. And look at Alexander. You're not going to bring him down from the back. He's dragged from 10 yards. Look at Williams hanging on, trying to pull him down. But, well, it's a lot of momentum.
Shaun Alexander, 206 yards on the day. As Alexander and Alabama rolling over the Vanderbilt Commodores, 32-7.
The WB comedies are moving to what night again?
Thursday night.
On the WB.
What place we wanna be? WB. That's right. Be swinging, baby.
Bubba, the BB Night.
Did I mention we're moving next Thursday?
Thursday night, boy. Have you heard this rumor that we're moving to Thursday?
32-7, Alabama. 32 unanswered points by the Crimson Tide as Vanderbilt trying to hang in there, but it's been a rough day for the Commodores. The kickoff is going to skip in the end zone. And again, what else is new? Vanderbilt starts at the 20. Can you say workhorse? Shaun Alexander, 20 carries, 206, 3 touchdowns. His all-time high in a single game, of course, was back in '96 when he had 291 against LSU. But what a day for Alexander. He already has over 300 yards on the season.
Boy, and 8 touchdowns rushing. That's going to be incredible.
Well, let's see what David Wallace now can do. He had early success, but Alabama has really pressured him the rest of the way. Wallace looks, throws, good pass to Yoder. Yoder has it up near the 40. Wrestled out of bounds. Well, he looked good on that one.
Yeah, he did. But, you know, again, he zeroes in on that one receiver. When you roll that action that way, it just limits you. You can't look, you can't scan the field and pick up that secondary receiver. That time, Yoder made a nice pattern cut. It's a little curl to the outside, and he hit him with a strike. That's what he needs to have happen, good things. And that's what Woody Woodenhopper and his staff will look for, good things. They've really been in this football game, except for Shaun Alexander.
First down, Vanderbilt. Run, Lou Thomas gets stuck. They think Thomas is going to be a good one. We mentioned that earlier. At 41 yards rushing last week against Mississippi State. Gives him a little more speed. He's out of Atlanta. 6', 205 freshman. And there's Alabama's backup quarterback, Andrew Zhao, who got a chance to play last week. And they're a guy that also fans around here have been waiting to see exactly what he can do.
A lot of Alabama changes up on that front line, trying to get new guys in, get them some experience, get them some playing time.
Oh, held on to. Nice catch. As O.J. Fleming was knocked as he was able to hang on to the football. Alabama gets Michael Pagan over there to make the play. And it's third down. Dave, you know, Vanderbilt knows they're not going to win this game. They're working on next week, the Ole Miss game, and down the stretch, and just trying to get some rhythm and some continuity in a game-type atmosphere.
Well, you can look at this football game, and I point back to that one play that really changed it, that interception. Because if they had gone at halftime 7-7, who knows what might have happened.
Wallace lets it go. The ball is knocked away, and a flag comes in late. Kelf Bailey was guarding Hogan's over there, and he got his hand in, and so the sophomore flagged, and Vanderbilt will get the pass interference penalty.
But you're exactly right, Bob. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for positive things to happen. For Alabama, you're just building momentum.
On the defense. Spot foul, automatic first down.
But for Alabama, you're just looking for momentum. You're looking for your offense. They've had a lot of continuity on offense. I don't know that Alabama has made one mistake. I know they haven't fumbled the football, and I don't believe they've thrown an interception today, so they have played flawless on offense. Well, maybe that's right. They had that one tipped interception, Bob, where Crosby touched that ball deep in their territory. But other than that, they played an excellent game of football, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, they haven't laid the ball on the ground. Pass out. Jimmy Williams now. And that's a wide receiver. Going 2 ways. Baker makes the stop. So 7 minutes to go. Dave, the concern, though, Alabama, again, completely stuffed Vanderbilt's running attack. And if they can't get anything on the ground, they're going to have a tough time winning in this league.
Well, they are. You've got to establish that run to take the pressure off. I think one of the reasons that they got that run stuffed is that those young guys up front, Kelvis White, 67, Kenny Smith, he's a sophomore also, as is White and Jamie Carter. They played really well up front. Big linemen up front, getting penetration, getting in there, still in the football game.
Behind the intended receiver. Yoder, incomplete, and Sigler there. You know, if Vanderbilt could get Alabama to move these games to Mobile, they'd be in pretty good shape. All time, Vanderbilt is 2-1-1 in games played at Mobile, but in Birmingham they are 3-13-1, and in Tuscaloosa 1-14. So they haven't had much success at Bryant-Denny Stadium or here at Legion Field. Because those games at Mobile were back a few years ago.
Yeah, they were. That's a few moves.
6.5 minutes to go in the game. Pressure. Wallace. Down he goes again.
Wow.
That time he took one of his offensive linemen with him. Bindum was knocked into the backfield, and he's down hurt.
I don't know who got the sack. There were like 4 guys that got up from that. I think Sigler might have been back in on another one of that sacks.
Yep, Sigler was there, Moorhead was there, and now the concern about Bindum.
You don't think of your strong safety. We talked about Sigler earlier being a leader. You don't think of your strong safety having the day that he's had. 3.5 sacks for Sigler. Gee, watch him. Number 20. You're going to see Moorhead in there also. They just blow him over. There's Sigler, 20. Moorhead, he just runs him over.
Well, the concern is now with Bindum as the Vanderbilt medical staff looks at him. He gets to his feet.
That's good to see.
And they're going to help him off a bit. I think he's all right. Got his bell rung maybe a little bit.
Well, one thing that really hurts an offensive line is that when you're playing late in the game and you don't have any running game and you've got any situation 3rd down and 4+ yards, it's almost a definite pass game. So then your defensive linemen, they're up on their toes. They've got all their weight forward, and they're just flying in there. We talked a lot about Alabama playing on the edge. They're not playing straight man-to-man face up. They're playing on the edge. They're playing on the shoulders, playing in the gaps, and really coming hard after the offense.
Fair catch, Richard. 25-yard line. Alabama starts it. 28-yard punt on that one. And so the $1 million band from Alabama. Majorettes joining today's game here. It's been a terrific day for football. Mostly overcast, no rain. Temperatures in the 80s. And Mike DeBoe's Alabama Crimson Tide played extremely well today. And Andrew Zhao now comes in at quarterback. They've got a couple of guys, Tyler Watts and Andrew Zhao. They'll be the quarterbacks of the future here. Now Zhao gets a chance to perform. The handoff goes to the second man, Arvin Richard. He's been returning kicks today. Now he gets to play at tailback. It's the first rush today by anybody other than Shaun Alexander.
Exactly.
They haven't given it to the fullback. They just tell him, Dustin, just go knock people around.
Well, Dustin's a load coming up there. You ever see a 6'2", 260-pound fullback coming up there at you? He's like an offensive lineman.
There's John David Phillips, and you can see he has moved it around a bit today. 16 to his wide receiver, 3 receptions to Shaun Alexander out of the backfield. Zhao has pretty good speed. You see he gets to the corner, now tucks it. And is shoved down at the 30-yard line. He won back-to-back state championships when he was playing in high school. Then he suffered a knee injury in his senior year, missed the first 7 games of the season. And now Zhao, his team, while he was in high school, won 40 straight games. One year he had 1,000 yards of passing and 1,000 yards rushing. Scored 16 touchdowns in high school. So he's a very talented athlete, and now getting some valuable playing experience in an SEC game. And pretty good size. 6'1", 215 is what they listed. See those trips to the near side. Pass is too high. And incomplete. That looks like a fire drill down there.
Sure does. Yeah, when they break out of that huddle, they break off that line. They just scatter like quail coming out of that huddle, just all over the place.
Pass was incomplete, intended for Red Crutchfield, who, by the way, also is a graduate student now for Alabama, just got a scholarship. So congratulations to Crutchfield for, again, one of those guys who stays and has played. And Pope did in the punt for Alabama. Good kick. Right there. Back to the 15 goes Duke. Christine, a big hit by Alabama on the coverage team. Chad McGehee comes down, covering the 58-yard punt, but there is a flag down back on the 35-yard line. We'll see what that is. And Bill Goss goes back to check it out.
Well, Bob, that flag's not on the line of scrimmage, so it's about 5 to 7 yards off. And again, you think of holding.
And they are motioning back to bring it. Well, now they're figuring out if it's half the distance to the goal.
Well, tell us what happened.
What they do is they go over the options. That's what they're doing right now. And Woody Woodenhopper, he looks on just like we do to find out what the options were. When the foul happened, did it happen before the kick? Did it happen during the kick or after the kick?
Mike DeVos, like us, waiting. It's a holding penalty against Alabama.
Well, that may be the hold right there. It didn't let him up. Look, he stayed on top of him.
Grabbed his shirt. That's Chris Horn holding on for dear life against Lou Thomas.
Boy, our camera guys, they don't miss anything, do they? Golly. That was 10 yards from the kick, the line of scrimmage.
So we'll back it up and re-kick it. Daniel Pope not excited about that because he just boomed one. That's one of the best kicks of his career. So Pope will come back in. Good day for John David Phillips, and I'm sure what a terrific story. Here's a guy that spent the summer doing the Outward Bound program. 2 weeks, didn't take any showers, had a team, and they went through the woods hiking and just basically living on their own, trying to exist, and it gets a lot of leadership qualities out of him, and John David Phillips is really a great story developing for this Alabama football team. Duke again, and so Vanderbilt will be able to pick up some good field position finally. Now it's time for a look at the BMW Ultimate Drive of the game, brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Shaun Alexander caps off this scoring drive with an 8-yard touchdown. Gallup, that was his second of the day, but that caps off the drive. 6 yards, 6 plays, 71 yards, under 2 minutes. And Shaun Alexander scores, and that really helped turn the tide. Greg Zolman now in at quarterback for Vanderbilt, hands the ball off to the running back, Rodney Williams. So Vanderbilt says, well, that's enough for Wallace today. Let's see Zolman and get a chance for him to get some snaps. He's another freshman. They brought 5 quarterbacks into camp battling for the starting job. Zolman was one of them, along with David Wallace, Ty Lewis, Justin Perkey, and Sean O'Connor all had a chance to win the job. As it turns out, Lewis won, but was ineffective. So he was replaced by Zolman, who was replaced by Wallace last week against Mississippi State. So while Wallace got the start today, Dave, I'm not so sure that this thing is settled yet. Who's going to be the quarterback? Although they like Wallace, but Zolman might get a chance to play so.
And Ty Lewis, really, he didn't play that badly in preseason. I mean, you know, get ready. He just got a case of the nerves real bad last week. Was under a lot of pressure, made some bad decisions. So what do? You just sit him down, say, gather your composure, get back into your flow, and you'll get another opportunity maybe.
Well, it's a matter for Ty Lewis to just keep playing hard and keep practicing hard, and you know, who knows, he's probably going to get another shot. But right now it looks like they're going with Zolman and Wallace. And Lewis, the junior out of Denver, watches on the sidelines. 3rd down. Zolman, a freshman from Miamisburg, Ohio, left-handed, looking to throw, looking to be sacked. Miguel Merritt comes in and makes the play on the Vanderbilt quarterback. 10th sack of the day for Alabama. And now Merritt is down on the play. He's the sack maker. Now a bit stunned.
We talk about pressure. These Vanderbilt quarterbacks have been under pressure all day long. You see the line which gave him time earlier is not able to give him time, and you can see Zolman gets back there. He's got a little happy feet, moves around in the pattern, takes his eye off it.
Mike just got the wind knocked out of him. Alabama, of course, off next week. Their next game will be an SEC contest as they play at Arkansas. And then, of course, a couple of big games, Florida and Ole Miss at home. There's David Wallace, the Vanderbilt quarterback, and he's one of our Amico players of the game for Vanderbilt. You see his stats through the early touchdown pass to Tavares Hogans as Vandy led 7-0. And our Amico player of the game for Alabama, who else? Shaun Alexander, 20 rushes, 206 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Merritt now helped to the sideline. If there was a defensive player of the game, though, Dave, I'd have to think you go with Kelvin Ziegler.
Yeah,
I think he has set the tone.
Oh, I think he did, too. I really do. He came in at that strong safety. They said they needed him to be a leader in the secondary, and boy, has he played well today. 3.5 sacks, has an interception, probably 7 or 8 tackles. He really had a day.
Monday punting unit for Vanderbilt. Overworked today as Webb kicks another one, and Richard makes the reception back at the 25. So Alabama gets it with 2:03 to go in the game. And so Alabama will send out Andrew Zhao again.
Well, anytime, Bob, you get 10 sacks in a football game by a defense, you right away think about what's the record. The record number of sacks for Alabama was 13.
Brooks Brody now in the center spot. Mookie Moore at one guard. So Alabama going with some of the backups as well in the offensive line. Arvin Richards run out of bounds as Fred Vinson comes up to make the stop. That's his 7th tackle of the day.
Now, I think Mike DuBose has really got to be pleased with his team. I think he's got to be happy with the offense moving the football up and down the field. They were in that tough first half to start. But, I think he's got to be pleased. For Woody Woodenhofer, I think he's got to regroup a little bit, but he's got to be pleased that his team didn't quit. After last week, they were just destroyed last week. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. But they came out, they played hard. They were in this football game almost till halftime and really should have been in it until halftime.
Outside, now turns his head up and tries to get to the first down. Got to get to the 35. Short of it, Jimmy Williams makes the play. Comes home next week to play Ole Miss. The Commodore defense trying to hang tough. Jamie Winborn there calling signals. And Woody, of course, said this was going to be a long process to rebuild when your offense basically the past several years has been run or set up to run the football. You try to change the style. It takes a while for that to sink in. Under 2 minutes to go now. 4th quarter. Richards stopped. So it'll be 3rd down on that play. Now we go to 4th down. Wally Conyers and Tyler Unziger makes the play for Vanderbilt.
Well, I think for Woody Woodenhofer, again, you're looking at positives. He's got a lot of freshmen playing, a lot of young kids playing, and a lot of real key positions. His offensive line's got a couple up. He's got young quarterbacks. He's got out of wideouts. He's got a freshman out there who played today. Had a great spring, so he's got some young players. And most importantly, his team didn't quit. And they were really discouraged last week after that loss. They'll come in, they'll take Ole Miss next week, and they should give them a football game.
One almost blocked, knifing through for Vanderbilt was Lou Thomas, but they got it away. Alvin Duke now, jitterbugging back there. Duke still on his feet. Finally dragged down at the 38 by Calvin Hall, and the flag goes down. Hall got him by the face mask.
Man, I wonder how Lou Thomas missed that. He might have gone past the kick. He was in there plenty of time to block that football.
If you just join us, let's get the call here by Bill Goss.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask on the kicking team. It's 15 yards from the end of the run. 1st down.
Vanderbilt jumped out early in the game, 7-0 when David Wallace throws the touchdown strike to Tavares Hogan's. And it was 7-0 Vanderbilt, but then Alabama came back and Shaun Alexander scored. Then a touchdown strike to Quincy Jackson made it 14-7 at halftime. And on the second half, a couple of safeties and a touchdown run by Alexander opened things up. And Alabama has really been in control of this thing since the second quarter. Stallman over the middle to Yoder. Yoder makes a couple of tackles. Gets close to a 1st down as we get down to under 10 seconds to go. And Vanderbilt calls the timeout. They have 2 left. Vandy like to try and maybe get one last shot at the end zone.
Well, it'd be nice to get a score or go home on a positive note. It's been tough for Vandy to come in here and play against Alabama.
Tough day for the Commodores. And as you see, they go home and play Ole Miss and then go to TCU at Fort Worth, Western Michigan back in Nashville, and at Georgia, South Carolina, ACC matchup with Duke, and then close against Florida, at Kentucky, and then Tennessee. So Vanderbilt will lose its 14th straight to Alabama today. Zolman for the end zone. Pass is intercepted by Spencer. Spencer makes the grab on the final play of the game. Alabama's defense dominant. Marcus Spencer announcer closes things out as Mike DeBose and Alabama. The 300th victory for this proud football tradition. DeBose shakes hands with Woody Woodenhofer as Alabama takes it 32-7. An impressive day today, Dave, I think, for Alabama.
Oh, I certainly do. They moved the football well on offense. They were able to control the football game when they had things bad. Things went well.
David Logan's now down with the winning coach, Mike DeBose.
We played well defense for the entire game except for the one play, one screen pass we didn't execute real well on, but I thought we played well, made some things happen defensively. We let Woody and hit their defensive game plan take us out of our offensive scheme somewhat. We got to go back and take a good look at that and make sure we're going to run our offense and be able to spread the field and force them to defend more of the field. They sort of dictated us defensively.
But at the same time, your defense was strong, Coach. I mean, I believe 10 sacks on the afternoon. You missed the record by 3, so strong outing for your defense.
I was extremely proud of our defense. You know, the one play we didn't execute, but you got to give Andy credit on that particular play. But I thought our kids, even under adversity, when we got field position for our offense, we didn't make first downs, we didn't make anything happen with the football defense, we came back out and stopped them again. So I'm really proud of our defense. It's a win, you know, and it's a team win, but we got a lot of areas and a lot of room for improvement.
At the same time, Alexander continues to get better and better week in and week out.
Well, we got to find more ways to get the football to him. I'm disappointed in the fact that we didn't throw the football to him enough. You know, we know he's a great runner, but we also have to get him isolated on some safeties and linebackers in the passing game.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. Again, congratulations on a big win.
Thank you.
All right, Bob.
Big win for Alabama today. Shaun Alexander getting the hugs as he heads to the Alabama locker room along with John David Phillips. 32-7 the final. Alabama will continue from Legion Field in a moment.
Today's Bell South SEC Game of the Week was brought to you by Bell South. Bell South is proud to be the official telecommunications company of the SEC. By Dodge, the truck stop of the New South, the new Dodge. By Nations Bank. The new money manager account from Nations Bank and Nations Bank Investments combines checking and investing. Raise your money to the next power. By Amoco. You expect more from a leader, and you get it. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by Nationwide Insurance. For insurance coverage and financial services that meet your needs, call a Nationwide insurance agent today and get Nationwide on your side.
Bama fans filing out of Legion Field with smiles on their faces as Bama won today 32-7 over Vanderbilt. The star of the game, Shaun Alexander. He's with David Logan down on the field.
Shaun, congratulations. Big afternoon of running the football.
Thank you. This is just a great afternoon for us. We went out there and we wanted to establish tone, but we get out there and Vanderbilt gave us some problems, but you know, we just kept on pressing on, and God just blessed us with so many things, and I'm just very proud of our boys right now.
Now, just talking to your coach a few minutes ago, he said we got to find more ways to get Shaun the football. Not only are you running it, he wants to get it to you in the air as well.
Yeah, this offense is very big and it's very powerful because there's so many ways that you can hit people with it. And Vanderbilt did a good job in taking some things away. But, you know, we just kept on playing hard, and that's the key.
The style has to fit you to a T. No more just to grind it out, but an open offense. So a lot of times you can be a decoy, but at the same time, you can be that receiver out of the backfield as well. Get out in that open space the way you like to be, right?
All right, this offense is great because it has so many ways for you to hurt people. And whether they use me, Quincy, or Mike, or even when Shamar gets back, it's going to be a great offense.
All right, congratulations. Big afternoon. Bob.
Shaun Alexander races off to the locker room. You see again that today they beat Vanderbilt. Open date, then they take on Arkansas, and then come back with Florida and Ole Miss. Big, important stretch. 3 games coming up in the SEC for Alabama.
Yeah, they're big ones. They certainly are, Bob. They've got the meat of their schedule, but they're off to a great start. They got their offense rolling. Their defense looks strong, and they should meet the meat of their schedule well.
One thing that Alabama wanted to do was win at home. They had problems with that last year. Well, they've won 2 to start the year, 1 in Tuscaloosa, and then 1 today here at Legion Field as they dominated Vanderbilt 32-7. Back with some closing comments from Legion Field in Birmingham, but first a word from your local SEC station. Alabama wins today to go 2-0 on the season. They beat Vanderbilt 32-7. They have other scores around college football today.
Well, some great games going on around the nation. Mississippi State leading Memphis 7-6 in the 4th quarter. Eastern Kentucky, no challenge for Kentucky and Mr. Couch. at halftime, 35-0.
Next Saturday, our Bell South SEC Game of the Week comes to you from Nashville, where Vanderbilt goes up against Ole Miss. As Rebel sophomore Deuce McAllister leads the running attack, and Romero Miller, of course, shining bright as now the young quarterback for the Rebels. But they'll have a tough go against Woody Woodenhofer's defense as Vanderbilt trying to put the clamps on Ole Miss. Should be a good one next week. Check for the game in your area, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, Ole Miss against Vanderbilt. But today, it was all Shaun Alexander in Alabama. Over 200 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He has 8 on the season. Maybe he's a horse.
No, he is a horse. He's certainly going to break that rushing record of 13 touchdowns here at Alabama.
So, Shaun Alexander and the Crimson Tide off to a good start this year. We thank our director today, Ken Dennis, and also our producer, Rob Reichley, and the rest of our Jefferson Pilot Sports staff today. David Wallace today found out how tough it can be to be an SEC quarterback as Alabama was all over him.
10 sacks. That's amazing. 10 sacks. They got through 10 times and dropped them. Put a lot of pressure on them. And for Alabama, it was stand back there, throw the ball, and a lot of things went well for Alabama.
John David Phillips right on target again to Quincy Jackson on the touchdown strike. It was 14-7 at halftime at all Alabama in the second half. Thanks for being with us. Mike DeBose's Alabama Crimson Tide. Impressive today. For Dave Rowe, David Logan, I'm Bob Kessling. You've been watching Jefferson Pilot Sports, exclusive coverage of Southeastern Conference football.